wife on like a little 3-day vacation. And we had
nice.
We had a good time. Went to the beach in Goa, did some drugs.
Sweet.
Oh,
let me just share this. Watch. Nope. Hold on.
So I tagged you in this, and I did go ahead.
It showed up. But there's something wrong.
Facebook. So I don't usually rehearse these. Or like what I've done with you so far is literally what I do with everybody. I just ask them like, hey, do you want to be on my interview? And then if so, I just send you that document, and then go from there. So
now I'm having a little delay when you speak, so I may just go slower to make sure I understand what you said, but otherwise I'm just sharing the video before we start.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Now that I know how to say your name, Nika Wolf. So I'm gonna have to get you one of these hats.
Yes, and then we're gonna have to do this again, so we can do like a matching hat thing.
Well, we might possibly do this again. So before I really get started, all right. So this has technically started already because I'm live streaming and recording it, but I do typically have somebody go in and actually edit these interviews, and I put them in a membership area for my page students that are in my course for how to make money on Facebook, just so they can kind of see the interviews, because it's part of what I teach is, in that course, I teach people go interview for other people, because if you interview people, you can make money from that. So we have kind of started, but before we really start, I'm gonna let you share everything. And then I'm just going to give you a heads up of how this goes, all right? Because I don't really, we have interacted on Facebook. Before. So I've seen you comment on my stuff, I've commented on your stuff. We've been friends before. We weren't friends, right before this, and that's really just because I delete everybody on Facebook. So,
I know, I was so like, what the hell? Like, why is he not my friend anymore? I got to talk to him about this.
No, I do that. It's like, so I'm about to do it again. I'm just actually waiting. The software that I used to delete everybody, it stopped working. So I have to build my own software to delete everybody. And as soon as I need like 4 more days, and my engineer will have that ready. And then literally I just go in and delete every single person on. I don't do the marketing stuff and just like go in and like, hey, I have 5,000 friends, comment on my post if you guys want to stay here. I'm gonna delete.
Oh my God, they drive me crazy.
I just delete everybody and start over. I just add random people on Facebook that I think will benefit from my stuff, and then we go.
With your special software, which, by the way, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So you're a friend connector user, huh?
Yeah, yep. I started using it recently, and I love it. And it's like, to me, like I always think about, okay, is this kind of cool? Like, because I'm always thinking about like ethical and really connecting with people and all that. And I'm thinking, this is awesome because it's going to let me connect with people I really want to connect, because I'm looking for, it's not someone I want to just sell to eventually. It's these people are exactly the people I want to have surrounding me, like successful business owners or something, or like industries I like to work with because they think like me. So I think that the idea was genius. I mean, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, I'm glad you like it. And like every software that I've ever created, like I don't just build random ass softwares. I build softwares for me and my process and what I need to solve my problems. And then I think I'm nice enough to let the rest of the world buy it from me and solve their problems as well.
Yep, no, I do. I agree with that.
Friend Connector, I think, is a great one. But I want to get started with you. Before we get started, I just want to kind of go over and give you a heads up on how this works. I don't know how much my assistant told you in the chat, but kind of how this works is I'm just interviewing you for literally for marketing purposes, all right? So I want to be clear about that. And so I just give you a chance to introduce yourself, talk about yourself a little bit. Then I just ask you some random questions that I feel like asking you. I did send you a document and ask you, hey, is there any specific questions that you want me to ask you? So if you gave me those, I'll ask those. I let you know, is there anything you don't want me to ask you? And if there's nothing if there's things that you don't like, like some people don't want me to ask them about their sexual orientation, because I want to talk about those.
I'm European. It's very, very different for us.
And then, so after after just kind of like the Q&A, I do source questions from Facebook if they want to ask anything. And then I just give you a chance to, you know, give whatever value that you feel that you can give to everybody out there, like the most value that you want to give for free, obviously, because ain't nobody getting paid for this shit. And then after that, after you're done with your value, like, okay, I don't want to give you guys any more value until you give me some money. Then we talk about your offers and I give you a chance. I don't use affiliate links because I'm not into affiliate shit. So it's just, if my audience buys stuff from you, then you get to keep all that. I don't want any of that money. And that's kind of how it goes. So.
Let's do it.
So that sound good with you? You still want to move forward?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started with that introduction. So you sent me an intro that said you're a former special forces officer turned marketing strategist and consultant. She has 10 years of experience in marketing, millions in managed ad spend, and is one of the most sought after influencer marketers. So you used to fucking kill people or what?
I guess I should have added that to the don't ask questions. Yeah, so I actually worked in I was the first generation of like police officers, females in my country back home in Serbia. And I got like first 4 or 5 years, I worked in diplomatic security, which was like VIP people that come to Serbia, diplomats, presidents, like Joe Biden security, Vladimir Putin security. And then I decided I want to be the first girl that joined special forces, which is different in America. So it's just under law enforcement. It's kind of like an anti-terrorist unit. And I was so determined I'm going to do this. And I did. And it was fun. And then after deployed to Africa for a year. And then afterwards, I was there total about 10 years. And then I moved to the States, left all that. And then when I came to the States, I was like, I got to do something. Let's see what I like to do, you know? And marketing was just always like my second biggest love after shooting. So ended up in marketing. It's been 10 years in that now.
That's I'm gonna just be honest, that's fucking crazy. So if at any time I ask you a question and you don't feel like you want to answer it, you know, especially because we're live, just, you know, say
Sure.
All right. But I don't like to do support interviews with people. I'm gonna give you your chance where you can give as much value as you want to people. Mm-hmm. Until then, I just like to probe and kind of, actually get to know you, because the reason that I'm doing these interviews is I'm doing a virtual summit. I'm going to be starting a virtual summit, and I'm using these interviews to pre-screen people to see if I want them to be part of my virtual summit, because I'm going to market that and they're going to get a lot of exposure from that. So I just kind of want to get to know you, and I'm really curious, like I'm real anti-government and anti-war and shit, because I think it's dumb to what made you want to go kill people? Like I want to understand.
So it's funny because you said like you're anti-government and anti-war. Like I can never say I'm pro-war, but I'm a child that grew up in war. And then I had my second war was when I was 18 when NATO bombed my country. And then what I consider like third war was some craps we had while I was already serving. Now I feel like in reality, it was for number one was my ego that I wanted to do that, because think about it, it's like the first girl that does what I did. So that's like awesome, And second, my dad was military, and I just grew up watching him in his little like ironed uniform, it's just like so awesome, and he was just an awesome dad. So I feel like I always wanted to make him proud. Obviously, my dad never thought that I'm going to try making him proud by doing what he does, but I guess he didn't really have a say in it. And so I can't say I'm pro-war. I do understand war just because we've been attacked so much. So I'm like, well, hell yeah, you defend yourself, But would I go and send army to a third world country and be like, okay, well, we're going to bring peace to you? I don't believe in that. I believe if people want to be in war and they want to kill each other, you got to let them like hash it out. It's just like if you had two kids and they just want to, hit each other all the time. Like I used to fight with my sister all the time. You just got to let it, let them handle it. That's how I think. And then when it comes to government, again, I grew up in socialism and communism. I won't say I'm completely anti-government because we got to have some kind of system. Otherwise it's anarchy. But I am definitely for tiny, small government with as little administration as possible. I don't like politics probably in any country in this world, because I don't think people really have any effect on it. Like, yeah, we vote, but that's BS, you know? So I won't say we're too far apart in opinion. Is it just like, I guess, when you grow up in it, it's more like, yeah, it's kind of like, okay, you know, it's nothing. It doesn't bother you as much, you know, which is sad, obviously, because we all develop all these PTSDs and stuff. But I guess you just unfortunately get used to it, you know? It's like when you're a child, if you are in like a really bad family, you tend to tolerate these things later better than someone that was in a good family and goes into a similar situation.
So your dad was in the army. So where you're from? You said you're from a
Yeah, I'm from I was born in Bosnia, and for those that know a little bit about Europe, we had wars always there in the Balkans. So my dad moved us to Serbia just before the whole thing blew up. Now he went back because he had to, he was in the military, and that's kind of like how I grew up in Serbia. I am a Bosnian Serb, which is really big thing over there. If you're from Bosnia, it's very important. Are you a Serb, a Croat, or a Muslim? It's crazy over there. So I'm a Bosnian Serb. That's why we went to Serbia to live there after the war.
So I mean, excuse me for being kind of geographically stupid, but where the fuck is Bosnia at?
So the whole area, former Yugoslavia, is kind of like, if you can imagine the boot of Italy in Europe, if you know where that boot is, we're just above it, like kind of above and on the right. So we're surrounded by some really cool countries like, you know, Greece and Italy and I don't know, Austria. But it's just it's historically, it has been a really crazy geopolitical area. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have another war there in like less than 20 years.
So are you guys religious over there?
Yeah, actually, most of the wars I feel are religious. Now, obviously, there's always some politics in it and all that. But in reality, if you break down all the wars, it's really between the majority, like all Serbs are Eastern Orthodox and Croats are Catholic. And then you have Muslims, which obviously they took Islam usually during the Ottoman Empire, which was about 500 years that was kind of occupying that area. So now you have three religions and everyone hates each other. Like the Serbs are always like making fun of the Muslims because like, why would you take a different religion? And then they're trying to prove that they're actually like believe in what they believe. And it's just like it's to me, it's hilarious because we've seen how people do to each other that, but obviously deep down it's horrible because people are killing each other over religion. And you know, everyone thinks their book is the book that's accurate, you know, and of course it will never be known who's right. You know, we all function on faith. If you believe in God, we'll never know who's right until the end of the world. So, but you know what, you can't explain that to people. It's just if it's not religious, people just hate each other. And I do believe that humans do have a lot of animal in them, and that if you didn't butt into anyone's war, there'll be way more dead people if you just let them hash it out, you know, which is not a good thing, obviously. But I don't think you'll ever have world peace or whatever they're hoping for one day, you know.
I do. I think we're gonna have it. So I think, you know,
You think?
oh yeah, like I'm 100% certain we're gonna have it, but I don't think it's gonna be from I don't think it's gonna be from humans deciding, you know, let's be human and have world peace. I think it's gonna be technology. I think we're going to literally create technology. Like the technology that I envision is we're gonna have, you know, computers, and we're going to be integrated ourselves as a device, like as an IoT in our consciousness, and we're going to decode consciousness. So many people are working on it. It's my ultimate passion, and we're going to all be connected, like me and you, we would be connected.
Yeah.
Conversation, you know, and once that happens, right? If we are able to connect all of humanity on a conscious grid, where like literally I am you and you are me, and we can distinguish ourselves from being different, but there's also a super AI that's up in the, you know, in the cloud that's of all of us that, you know, can help rule and govern us. But let's say if I come to you, right, and you have your religion, I'm not religious. I'm like, fuck religion. Religious people are kind of dumb, is what I think. But if I could have a connection with you and I could literally understand your consciousness, and I could be Nika Wolf to some extent. I can understand who you are and why you are that way because of all your experiences, and you can understand me. Well, how can we fight each other, right? Like if
absolutely,
right? Like if I walk by a homeless person and when I walk by him, I could literally feel his hunger and I can feel all his experiences and like his entire consciousness. I could have that and be connected to that. Well, how could I not help him if I was looking at him and considering, okay, that guy's me and he, and although we're separate, we're kind of the same entity. We're forced to have like how could you, if you could, all right, so I don't want people to think that I believe in rape, other than the fact that it fucking happens and people rape each other. But if you're going to rape a person, right, and rape a girl or a boy or whatever, and you're consciously connected with them, and you can feel their feelings, right? How could you rape them? And how could the other person allow you to rape them if they could feel you? Like they would already know, like, okay, this person's about to fucking rape me, I should go over there. So I think once we have that technology, and I believe with all my heart that we're going to get that technology and people are going to build it because it's already, the frameworks are already being built right now. So I believe now, I think it's going to be like probably 5 generations from now.
Oh my God. I was hoping you're going to say it's going to be sooner. You know what, actually? Go ahead, finish, because I thought about what you were just saying, how it kind of works in a lower on a lower level already. And
well, I think we're going to have the technology. I think we're going to have the technology 4 to 5 generations. But I think once the technology is going to be out there, you're going to have all the religious, like especially the Christian people, they're going to scream "Mark of the Beast," blah blah blah. They're going to go ape shit. All the old people, they don't even fucking use Facebook and smartphones. They're not going to get computer chipped, right? It's going to be the young generation that's going to get computer chipped. And then as they have babies, it's going to be kind of like, if it happens the way that I see it, and it being, essentially kind of like a virus and a new genome, a new gene in your DNA, where it becomes biological. Well, then let's say, if we were to pull the young generation right now, let's say all the little fucking kids on TikTok, and we're like, look, you can instantly watch videos in your head, you can instantly connect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right? So those kids, let's say 50% of them get it, they're going to have babies. Those babies are already going to have it. So now a couple more generations, once we have a couple more generations, everybody who doesn't want the technology, guess what? They fucking die. And
yeah, I agree. It reminds me of that show Black Mirror, because they're like, have a lot of episodes where they're predicting what might happen. I was thinking when you were saying that, how you'll need technology for that, but right now it happens on a much lower scale and lower level if you just sit and talk to people you're supposed to hate. And to me, based like on all the wars and everything that happened there, I'm supposed to hate, for example, Croats, but I don't, because half of my family, like my whole mom's side of the family, lives in Croatia, is married to people that are Croatian, and I absolutely love them. And my nephews and nieces are Croatian, technically Croatian. Like I can't possibly hate anyone I know, So that's like, if people gave some chance to just sitting down and talking to someone that they're supposed to hate, even though they don't even know them, it would kind of have maybe a similar effect of what you were just talking. Unfortunately, I do think you're right that we're going to need technology that forces people to have that feeling and connection before you will actually get them to sit down and talk to each other.
Oh, I agree. I don't think that we're ever going to get just humans to pull their
head.
And I think that's my big problem with fucking society is I think that we're stupid. We're stupid creatures.
A lot of egos.
For sure, we have a lot of ego, and I think the only way we're ever going to fill that ego is with technology. Sure, you're fucking going to be training that people are going to watch. I don't think it's going to be a religion, because even religion, and I don't want you to think I'm not paying attention to you, because people are over here, because Facebook's over here.
No, it's okay.
But you said that where you're from, they're mostly Muslims, right?
No, so from the country I grew up in, everyone's Eastern Orthodox, and Serbs have this really weird thing where if you change religion, they don't call you a Serb anymore, which is crazy, because it's one thing, nationality is one and religion is another. So like if you were a Serbian that took Islam, they would never call you a Serbian Muslim anymore, they'll just call you a Muslim. So yeah, it's really weird over there when it about that. But in general, yeah, I think it's probably one of the most religiously pure countries in the world, because I think I'm pretty sure over 85% of people are Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox,
So
which
by
I don't consider myself anymore, because I've been in the United States. I go to Protestant churches, so I consider myself more of a, I guess, a Protestant. Still not sure in which church actually, but I don't consider myself Orthodox anymore.
I mean, I don't understand what Eastern Orthodox means. Like, what God do they?
Eastern Orthodox is so what happened, like when Christianity started, it was like all one church, and then in 11th century it split into two, which was Catholics and Eastern Orthodox. And then in like 16th century, Catholics split into Catholics and Protestants, and then after that, of course, there's so many Protestant churches right now. And Eastern Orthodox are more like national churches. You have Russian Eastern Orthodox, American Eastern Orthodox, Serbian Eastern Orthodox. It's it people think it's similar to Catholic Church. It's really not. A lot of beliefs are different, but the system of, let me say, ritual is similar to Catholic Church. You don't have preaching, you don't have worship band or something like that. It's very ritual, like, there's a choir, the way you act in church is very specific and so on. Like in America, you can go to a church and see a band singing and dancing and people are jumping around and hugging each other and singing and so on. So it's very different, And it's very different when you come from a country like that and you go to American church for the first time. And first time I was like, whoa, what is this? I turned around and walked out.
So they believe in Jesus, basically. Is what
Yes. Yep.
they believe in. You also believe in Jesus.
I do believe in Jesus. Yes. Yes.
Well,
I do want to, I want to say it's either Jesus or something different saved my life a couple times. So I'm just going to I stick with him. Yeah.
so do you care if I smoke during our interview? Is that going to bother you?
No, if there's one country where almost everyone smokes all the time, that's Serbia. Turkey's probably the only one that's worse than us.
So you believe in Jesus, and I mean, you didn't answer. I'm assuming that is confidential, and you can't tell me if you've actually killed somebody or not. So I'm not gonna.
No, I didn't.
You said you didn't, like you never did, or
No, nope.
it would be really cool if you had. Like I think that would be.
Yeah.
You went from being obsessed with horses. Tell me a little bit about your childhood, if you got time. Just like a brief.
About my what?
About your childhood, about your family life. Like, was it happy?
Oh, childhood. Oh, yeah. Oh man. Well, here I tried to kill my sister. Does that count? So I got, when she was born, I wanted a brother. I was 3 years old. I wanted a brother, and they told me later that I threw things at her, and that I got chicken pox or whatever, one of those little dots diseases. And my mom was breastfeeding my sister. She just gave birth to her, and they told me, do not touch mommy. You can't be with mommy because if she gets chicken pox, the baby won't be able to eat. So what did I do? I went to my mom and gave her chicken pox. So she couldn't breastfeed my sister. Obviously they fed her, of course. And so I feel like I've had a great childhood. I was like a really smart kid. I was always book smart. I say about myself that I'm like super book smart and not a lot of life sense, common sense. So I was reading before I was like 3. My grandpa taught me how to read really early. So I just read a lot when I was a kid. At 5 years old, I told my mom, I don't want to go to kindergarten anymore. I'm just going to stay at home by myself. And we lived in such a city that you could do that. Like you couldn't do that in America. And every morning I'd get up and put them in my little house key around my neck on a like a string, and go to the store and get my breakfast and come back and just watch TV and read books till my parents come from home.
Now,
But then,
is this in the U.S. or is this in Serbia?
no, this is in Serbia. Actually, this was in Bosnia. This is before war. And then, like I said, like, my mom, I don't consider my mom and dad having great marriage. And that's like, when you're a kid and you know it and you just hope they divorce, that's bad. And so I knew as a child that they should not be together. And then when I was 8, we moved to Serbia. So like I said, my dad was in the Air Force. He was electronics technician on fighter jets. So he was fixing MiGs. We had in Serbian army or Yugoslavian army, we had Russian MiGs as fighter jets. And so he moved us to Serbia, where they kind of reassigned him from airport in Bosnia to an airport in Serbia. And my mom only finished high school. My dad finished military high school and then went to military academy and then left it about 2 years later because, you know, it was just a lot of travel. Well, then the war broke out and he had to go back to war. And then that kind of sucks because you're watching the news and you know that stuff. At that time, I actually never thought that my dad could get killed. And thank God he didn't. And then after the war, he really had a hard time money wise because he left the military and there were just no jobs. Like I consider Serbia a beautiful place. It's gorgeous to go as a tourist, but if you have to live there and make money from a job over there, you're screwed, right? And the only reason I was making it there is because I was in special forces. I had like more than double average salary of a person in a country and had no expenses by myself, you know? So my dad had a really hard time. That was kind of like so crazy to watch someone that has nothing, that I literally knew as a child that he didn't have enough food. But then on Sundays when we would visit, because my parents divorced after that, on Sundays when we would visit, he would always have a really good meal for us and give us like a little bit, like very little, but he always gave us some pocket money, like how do you call that in English? You know, just like spending money. And so that was just my parents were horrible together. Like they should have never been married, but they were amazing mother and father to us, you know, and like they busted their asses for us. And later my dad went to Bosnia to work with his sister, and then Kosovo bombing and war broke out and he just left everything and went to be a volunteer. And his entire life, it's been all about serving the country. But then he got mad when I joined because he said, I think we spilled enough blood, you know, because a lot of our family died in the wars. And that's kind of it. Like, you know, my mom she has another child, a third one, like it's me and my sister. And then my half sister is from her and my stepdad. She's 22. She's awesome. She works with me. She's super smart. And that's pretty much it. Like, you know, my childhood was like, I feel like as parents, they were awesome. I was always great at school until high school. Then I kind of didn't really care anymore, but I always just had really good grades. And then once I joined the police force, I was like the happiest person alive because like that's all I ever wanted to do because, you know, of my dad. That's pretty much it. Nothing really I feel like nothing too exciting. Then people go like, yeah, but war. I'm like, yeah, but you know.
I would totally disagree with you there. So let me get this straight. Your mom and dad, they're divorced right now.
Yeah, since I was 15-ish.
And how old were you when you moved to the United States?
I was already, that was 29.
You're 29?
Yeah.
Right, so
29, yeah.
I'm gonna do something that probably I shouldn't do, but how old are you now?
Oh, so hold on. 38.
So you're 38. Well, you look a lot
yeah.
But so now you lived
Thank you.
You lived only in Bosnia and Serbia, and other than that.
So Bosnia, Serbia. Then I lived in Italy for a little bit because they sent us there for some training, and it was like for months. Then I lived in Africa for a year because I got sent to UN by my unit to work in some you get sent to UN, but then they assign you there. And I got really, I say lucky, but I know it was also my resume. I got assigned to this American program, and that's how I kind of opened the eyes of ever leaving my country, because I never really had the American dream. I never really wanted to move out of Serbia. And I worked in this American program that we were training the SWAT for the local police, Liberian police. And then I went back home for another year, and then I moved to the States.
So Bosnia and Serbia, are they considered like third world countries, or?
I honestly, I don't know how they consider that, but I would say no, because it's like super developed. If you went there, it looks like any other European country. To me, a third world country is someone that has to worry about water, not having enough food, like famine, things like that. And I might be just wrong, not knowing what the definition is, but it's awesome. Like when foreigners go there, they love it, And it went down really fast when it comes to like, you know how America in the 70s, you can let the kid play in the street, you can, you know, go out and know where you're going to get like robbed and whatever. Well, Serbia was like that until like 15 years ago. And so right now, what I know is that morally and in a lot of other ways, they say it went down, but overall, it looks just any other European country. So we're industrialized. Before the war, we're one of the rare countries that had a gun industry, a car industry, an airplane industry, whatever it's called. Like, so we actually manufactured all that, and not a lot of countries had all that, you know? So I guess I would call it more of a developing country, but we're actually in worse financial situation now, I feel, than we were 20, 30 years ago, you know?
You speak, how many languages do you speak?
Use what?
How many languages do you speak?
Oh, I used to speak 6, I believe, but since I don't use them, I forgot them. I used to be fluent in Italian. I would need like a couple of weeks to get it back. I even started speaking Arabic while I was in Africa. I thought that was like the coolest language to learn. And it was going great when it was, you know, speaking. And then I had to learn to write, and then I gave up. I just couldn't get it.
Sanskrit.
It's like backwards. And then also like letter A, if you write it in the beginning of the word, it's different than letter A in the middle of the word. And I was like, okay, this is way too much. I do like now that because of the countries that separated from, you know, in Yugoslavia, technically now there's officially a Serbian language, officially a Croatian language, officially a Bosnian language, which they're kind of the same, you know? And so I automatically can say I speak 3 or 4 just there, you know?
What would you say your mother tongue is, like the first language that you learned?
Serbian.
And English is the last language that you learned?
No, actually, I learned English really, really early as a kid because I told you I learned to read really early. So I loved to watch movies. And in Serbia, movies are subtitles. So they play English sound and their subtitles in Serbia. So because I could read so fast, what happened is like I used to watch these movies and read all the subtitles and start connecting the words. Because, you know, in movies, they use like 1,000 words, maybe. That's it. And so I started kind of speaking before I was like 6 or 7. Then I started taking a little bit of private classes. And then in Serbia, you learn 2 languages in school, like you have to. So in 5th grade, which was about 12-year-old, I actually had to learn it in English in school. So that's where I started learning grammar and like more serious stuff than just conversation. For fun, I learned Russian for 8 years, and I can't say but 3 words probably after 8 years.
I just got back from little Russia in India.
How'd you like it?
It was great, you know. It was great. It was super relaxing, and you know, India's a very different type of culture. It's for sure third world culture. But we can talk about all that shit whenever you interview me, or you decide to ever interview me.
That would be fun. I worked with some Indians in Italy, and they were definitely different than most people I worked with before.
So I'm just curious, like you do have a bit of an accent, right? Like you do have a bit of a small hint of an accent.
Yeah, I always joke when someone says, you know, people are always trying to be nice. And in America, I feel like most people are really nice to foreigners, and they'll always be like, oh, I love your accent. And I make like the serious face and go like, I don't have an accent, you know? But it used to obviously be much worse. But I've been here, 9, 10 years, and I literally think in English. I read only books in English. All my business is in English. And I, like most of my Serbian friends, they communicate with people from back home so much. And I don't. I really speak with like my sisters, and just very rarely do I actually speak. We just text all the time. So I do know that some of the words that I learned here sound more like with a little southern drawl, just because I lived in Georgia and Florida, and now in North Carolina. So some of the words that I say are what I learned here. And but yeah, I kind of was always thinking how I want to lose the accent, but then my fiance is always like, no, don't lose it, like it's so awesome. And I'm like, it's awesome for you because you're American, so it's cool to you. But sometimes in America, if you're like, let's say trying to get a job or something, if you have an accent, they just don't look at you the same, you know?
So you don't work a traditional job, right? You work for yourself?
No, I did until last year.
Right?
Yeah. When I came here first, I didn't work for a little bit. Then I have 2 degrees in sports. So I started doing like personal training in when I was living in Georgia, and at parallel, I was doing like internet marketing. And then I moved to Florida, and I was like, okay, at that time my internet marketing wasn't kind of stable enough, and I was just scared to count on it, especially like, oh, I'm moving to a new place. I don't know anyone. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get clients. So I got jobs. And I actually think that was like a really smart move for me, because I had like a couple of short jobs. Like one was car sales, and that was a good experience. Then I got a job with a company that needed a marketing person. I grew a lot there. Then I was like, okay, I want to work for Grant Cardone. And I got a job there, that was fun. And once I kind of sat down and thought about moving to North Carolina, because my fiance lives here, and we were like, okay, I just asked myself, like, can I make it on my own? And I was like, of course I can. I mean, I have crazy knowledge, like crazy experience. Like I'll do it, So since I came here, I didn't even try to look for a job. I just do the internet stuff, and it's fun. I love doing this.
So your jobs now, I mean, outside of being in the special forces, now being in the special forces, were you in the U.S. Special Forces or with this?
No. Because here, to join anything, you have to have a citizenship, and I just got mine this year. It took a while. So, and then once I got it, everyone was like, oh, are you going to join police force? I'm like, no, I'm too old for that. It was fun when I was 24 and 25, and I can do whatever I want to my body, but not now. Like, this is just, it's hard work. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. I like my like peaceful life, I want to stay out of shooting and wars if I can. I shoot for fun. I compete sometimes, but I don't want to do the human on human and all that, because I'm over it.
Well, I'm really loving your story. I'm really loving your story, by the way. And I want you to know, like, I work for myself. I have my own company, which I'm sure you know.
Love your company. Are you kidding me?
So my point is I'm not time constrained. Like, I don't have any time constraints, so I could be here for 2 hours, 3 hours, but I don't want to take up more time.
No, that's okay, because you see, what I do is, the reason I schedule this on Monday is because I keep Mondays closed. So no one can schedule anything with me on Monday, and I keep it like if any friends wants to chat or whatever, and then I do my calls usually later in the week. So I can be here as long as people want. I don't know if there's any questions or anything, but
I can keep asking you questions all day long. I want to make sure that
it's like a therapy session.
Yeah, I want to make sure that you have a chance to provide value to my audience, so that they get, and hopefully they're getting value from this, and not fucking because I'm getting value. If they don't like it, they can not watch it. But I think it's necessary for you to provide some value to them, because then, like, after that, we're going to talk about your offers and what people can buy from you. And I just think it's easier for them to buy stuff from you if you've already given them some value. So just keep that in mind. I want you to have a chance to give whatever value you can and talk about your offers. So
Sure. So I do want to say one thing. So, because this reminds me every time, I don't really, a lot of people say, well, share your story online. And I just don't get into it too much, because I guess I just never sat down and put all this into like a shorter story you can share and so on. But I do want to say, like, and this actually happens to me to this day. And that's like knowing, like, people call it knowing your purpose, or, having goals or whatever. But think about everyone that's like gets disappointed and kind of feels let down, and, oh, I'm not succeeding in this. I just really firmly believe if there's something's not going the way you think it should go, it's just because you don't want it enough. Because one time I was like, I sat down, I was trying to do something, and I was like, why is this not happening? I want it. And I was like, and then I analyzed, and was like, I don't want it bad enough. And I know that because when I said I'm going to be the first girl in special forces, I did it. Or even when I said, hey, I want to get a job with Grant Cardone, I got it. Like, it took me like no time. And remember, we talked about videos, because I told you I don't like doing videos. You told me to get the F over it, and I will. Yeah, I will. But it's funny because they required actually for you to do a video to apply. It had to be a 60-second video. And I killed it. Like, my video, like, like people that don't want to get on video, they just don't want to see themselves on video. And it's so good that I even like watching it. So, and that's just when you want something bad enough. I do think that if anyone's on this video, ever thinking, you know, for example, I want to make a life for myself, like whatever. Now the common thing is I want to start a digital agency, and the digital agency thing is not working. It's just because they're not feeling it. And recently, you know, money is great, but I recently actually kind of realized and learned that I was trying to make myself always motivated with money, and I'm not motivated by money because I've been so poor. We've been to times where we didn't have enough to eat. Like my mom laughs at me when I say I'm not going to eat beans, because we ate beans and nothing else for months in during war times, you know, and I just hate beans, you know. And I've been so poor, but I guess because I've been so poor, it doesn't bother me so much. Like it's okay, you know. And so I couldn't motivate myself with money. And I think a lot of people are trying to be like, yeah, I want to make $1 million or something. When you think about it, like if I make $1 million, every time I make money, I give it away. Like I try to help my family. I give it to these, like, you know, there's a lot of organizations that help Serbs because it's so poor, especially the ones that are in Kosovo and still like dealing with after war and all that. I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, yeah, you want to have, like, you know, we have a house, we have a car. Like, what else do I need? Like, I don't need to have a yacht. And so you got to find something that you really, really want so bad that has nothing to do with money, to make it work if it's not going. And I'm talking from personal experience. This is not some bullshit coaching, life coaching or whatever, because you know they're always. I was laughing at your previous live when you said I could coach, but I'm not going to coach because I do software. Yeah, but you could probably coach better than a lot of these life coaches, like, you know. So it's just really, and I know it's hard. It's hard to find like what is it that's going to drive me to, like, you know, just bleed until I make it happen.
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Like I've been there as well. And I think that's one of the reasons that you and I kind of get along, and like you haven't like unfriended me and been like, you know, fuck this guy. This guy's crazy. You know, I've been when I was a kid, and I'm the same way like you. I haven't really dug in and told people like my little origin story and shared with people all my experiences and shit for marketing purposes. And a lot of it is because, like, honestly, it still hurts inside me to go in and
Yep.
talk about a lot of that shit. So I've fucking spent so much time in therapy and so much time doing drugs and building barriers inside my brain to block out those memories where it's like, I don't feel like bringing them back up for marketing.
No, I completely agree with you. And sometimes, you know what, also, I feel it could be a little pride, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but I've had so much shitty things happen to me in life that I never mentioned, because why would I use that to market? Like, it's not what, you know, it's not who I am. All the bad stuff is not who I am, you know? And to me, when I see people, some of the stories they put online, I'm like, why would you share that? That's like not something people should know about you. And I don't mean like, oh, you know, I was doing drugs or whatever. Like that's not it. It's the way they say about some of the things are just honestly have nothing to do with their story, has nothing to do with their business. It's almost trying to get pity from people so they would buy from you. And I can't do that. It could be just my pride or something, but I just can't do that. You know, I'll tell people the story of yeah, I did this, and yeah, we trained, and I got shot in the stomach one time with a ricochet because we were being dumb in training, doing stuff we shouldn't. But to me, I'll say it as a fun story. I'll never say it like, oh crap, like I thought we're all gonna get fired or whatever. Like, I like to talk about everything bad that happened. If I have to talk about it, I'm gonna turn it into a joke. I'm gonna turn it into, hey, this was a good learning experience, but it did not damage me. Of course it damages you, you know, but like you said, you know, you spent so much money on therapy, you're not going to dig it out just for some marketing purposes. It's just, I guess it's just against the way I am as a person.
It's, you know, honestly, it's been against mine too, Nika, but I've like recently, especially because recently, I think, you know, because you've seen a lot of it, like some certain people just trying to talk so much shit about me. And like,
oh yeah.
That like I'm to the point where I'm about to just go all in marketing and fucking share my stories and let people know who I am and the shit that I've been through, and just say fuck it, you know, I've been the same way. But I was, you know, we grew up super poor. You know, I was on free lunch, lived in a trailer. Everybody called us white trash. Then we moved to South America, and there were times that literally we ate rice every single day, just rice, nothing else.
Yep.
Rice, just white rice. like a month at a time. That's how fucking poor we were. Now I've got my own company. I've got like literally $4 or $5 million just sitting where I could go in and cash in. That shit's just put up making me money. And I really resonate with you saying that, you can't do shit for money, and money can't be your motivator because people think that money is going to make you happy, and it doesn't. It doesn't matter how much money that you get if you think that that's going to bring you happiness. It's not true. It doesn't bring happiness. So
when I think about the time when I had the most money in life, as in like really had never to worry about anything, I definitely was not the happiest. It was probably one of my worst times. So I definitely get it. Hey, I don't know if you do this, if your parents did this, but it stuck with me so much. Like if we're eating and I see someone like doesn't want to finish their plate, I'm always like, at least finish the meat. Like you can throw away rice and potatoes or beans or whatever, just finish the meat. Because my mom used to do that all the time. Like you got to finish your meat because, protein's expensive. And it's so funny. It stuck to me to this day. Like I've heard friends of mine say the same thing. Like if you finish your meat, then you can like leave the rest of the plate.
So what is it that motivates you then if it's not money? What's motivating?
What is my motivation? Like, you know what? I honestly don't think I've found it 100% because I can tell when like I'm doing something and then I'm like, okay, whatever, or I delay it, procrastinate or whatever. So I am not sure that I found it 100%. A part of my motivation is definitely to take care of my family back home because they're trying, obviously, but it's just such a financially bad situation there that, like, for example, one of my sisters, she had like a degree in banking and she hasn't been able to find a job for like, whatever, 6-7 years. There's just, if you don't have an into the bank, like someone that's already working there, you're not going to get a job. But I do see that people are starting to do digital things over there. So that's kind of interesting to me. But if you're over 30 something, I don't know what you would, what you can do. Like, you can't find jobs if you're older. So that a really big motivation for me would be that. A big motivation also for me is helping the people that went through war that are still being affected by it. Either they don't have houses to live in, they have, they've lost a parent, because in Serbia, there's really no system for orphans. Like here, orphans at least have facilities or can be put into a foster family, but over there, it's like horrible. And I do want to help them there. Honestly, like I said, 100%, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going yet, like fully, but I do know that I want to take care of my family. And then when it comes to like changing the world, everyone was like, oh, I want to change the world and all that. I don't want to change the whole world. I want to help people around me, because I remember this, the person, like he was like super old from Georgia where I used to live. And he would spend like $5,000-$6,000 every year, or I think twice a year, to go to Thailand and minister like his Baptist church to orphans in Thailand. And yeah, it's a great cause. To me, spending $5,000 or $6,000 would have been so much. It would go further, because I'm talking about plane tickets and hotels. He didn't take $5,000 and give it to them there. It would just go much further to buy food for the neighbor that's hungry, or if the neighbor's kid is going to like trying to do sports and they don't have money to do sports or things like that. I think we need to start with people around us before we go and try to change a country that's like 3,000 miles away from us.
So you're passionate about helping people. I'm surprised that you're so humble. Like you've been. I mean, like we've been friends for a while on Facebook. Like I said, we weren't friends.
Well, I think I look like an asshole on Facebook for the most part.
Well, on Facebook though, it's like I see what you do on Facebook, and I don't see like you don't talk so much about like your story. Like you said, you don't get into your story.
I know.
Like as a marketer, right? Because you are a self.
I know.
Right? So as a marketer, I'm sure you understand like how powerful your story could fucking be, and you're still not saying it. And even in this interview, you said, like your your childhood was pretty normal, right? But you lived in a
Yeah. I guess you know what, actually, this is exactly what they said. For example, I have really crazy amount of experience in marketing, like very different things. And, you know, it's probably one of the reasons why I've never specialized is because I'm like, well, how do I specialize? Like, you know, like people open digital agency and then run ads. And I'm like, but I don't want to specialize in ads. I've done so much in other things. Like, you know, I've done these influencer marketing programs. I've done so much with social media or even SEO. And so that's why I don't specialize. And so that's kind of like what you just said goes along with business. And that's where I go, like, sometimes I'm even like, well, I don't know if I can help this person because, you know, if I see a marketer running an ad, then I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good ad. I don't know if I could add something because, you know, what I know, they probably know it. And that's I get myself into this mindset of, oh, I'm sure they know this until I speak to someone. And this is actually problem. Like, I guess a lot of people might have it. Maybe it's just my problem where they are able to just get over themselves and just go for it. And I'm here sitting like, no, I'm sure they know that. And then I want to talk to a person and tell them hey, you should do this with marketing and all that. They go like, oh my God, I never thought about it. So it's really, I've not been able to really package myself into, hey, I really can help you with this. Cause I'm always thinking like, well, if I know it, everyone knows it. You know, if I thought my childhood was okay, I'm sure like it's, you know, some people's childhood was worse, you know. And I hear these people that said, I've spoken to someone that said, well, you know, when I was a child and went to for 3 years in school, I had one pair of pants. And to me, for some reason, their story sounds more horrible than mine. Maybe just because I grew up and got so used to that stuff, you know. Just like, you know, if you and I talked, you always say, I'm not a marketer, but I feel like you're maybe not consciously marketer, but you're really one of the best marketers. And I'm like, maybe if I talk to you, I'm sure I can share something that you never thought of. But I'm always thinking, oh, John's doing good, so he must know everything I know, you know. And that's really my mindset that I'm working on is like, hey, just because you know it doesn't mean everyone knows it. You need to put it out there. So that's sometimes I do get surprised when I tell people about what I did before. They go like, really? You know, or like you said, oh, you sound like you want to help people. And I said, like, I look like an asshole on Facebook because I'm like so direct. And I just get frustrated with people that are offended about everything and things like that. And I'm like, they blow my mind. Like I get so upset about them. So
what gets me about you is you're so humble about, you know, saying that you had this normal ass childhood. You did. You went through fucking war. You know, you've literally probably seen people fucking get blown the fuck up and killed. You were in the forces. So I can imagine as a female in the special forces, especially in a country like Bosnia or Serbia, I can imagine what you must have went through and, you know, like the way you must have been fucking treated and shit.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
So now you go through all this and you go through all this, and now once you go through all this, it's kind of like me, you know, I was fucking abused every day, like beat with hammers, like fucking literally, I spent like, my dad put me in the hospital so many fucking times, just beating the shit out of me. And so now, like, and I see a similarity in you, like, although you weren't beating shit, but like going through a war and seeing a war in a country is a fucking very devastating thing. So now you go through this and you have this experience, and it gives you this really amazing perspective on life. And because of that, you're able just to be direct, right? Things probably don't offend you, right? Somebody could be like, you know, hey, are you a fucking lesbian because you got that fucking haircut? And you probably won't care.
I know.
And because of that, and I think that somewhat this is a disservice to us because now we don't get offended easily. And because of that, we're just more blunt. And we just assume that, like you said, you assume people know shit. You assume, I do it all the time the same way. I must know this, and I assume that people must look at the world the same way that I do, but they don't. They get fucking offended. They get so offended.
About every little thing.
And it's like, you know, you're offended that I said you need to, you know, like, just go fucking live and not be a little pussy about it. And that offends you. Like, I've fucking seen a war. Like, I've seen people get their heads blown.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say to these people? Like, you were in a communist country, you've been through a war, you've been in the special forces, and yet you see these people that are super fucking privileged and they have all these privileges and they still complain and they get offended over fuck, what people saying fuck. Like what would you say to those people?
Well, see, this is gonna get probably a little political because in America everything's political that has to do with people. But you're right. Like, so I feel that this whole generation, now I know generation's about 20, 25 years. So I definitely know that my generation here in America has probably seen some poverty, some people, but after that, the younger people, they have not seen everything. They live in such amazing place, in so much money, in so much like it's just amazing, and they don't see that because they have nothing to compare it with. So when you have so much, I guess I'll call it privilege compared to like India or Serbia or whatever, Africa. But they have, it's always a joke to say first world problems, but they have literally zero problems. So they invent problems like, oh my God, it's, inequality, like, or they're ashamed of who they are. It's like, to me, to be ashamed of what skin color you have. Like, you had no choice over it. Like, you were born like that. There's nothing to be ashamed or proud of. You had you know what you should be proud of being the first child in a family, maybe that finishes college, or first entrepreneur in your family, when your whole family says you need to get a job and you're going with your dream. That's what you should be proud of, something you've done. And so these people here, they live in so much good that they have to invent problems, So is your problem that you don't have enough likes on Instagram? That could be something that stresses you. I know of a 12-year-old girl in Brazil that's a cousin of someone I know, that I've met this girl. She's 12 years old. She posted a picture on Instagram. By the way, a picture she as a 12-year-old should never posted. She looks like a 22-year-old ready to be hired for escort. And she didn't get enough likes on the picture, and she tried to kill herself at 12 years old. Or people here, going to colleges and getting into all this debt and so on. It's literally people don't want to take personal responsibility for anything. When I came to the States, I already had one degree. I had a degree in sports science, and I wanted to get another one. And I was thinking like, okay, well, let me just go to school in America. Like, that's probably going to be better for me, even though I don't use any of my degrees. And so I started researching, and for me to join, like to go to school in America, it required so much paperwork, and so I decided, okay. And then I saw the cost of it, and I said, well, I can't afford this. It's not even if I can afford it, I don't want to spend that much money. It's just a crazy amount of money for a diploma. So what I did, I found a school in Serbia, college that has online studying, except they didn't have online test taking. So I actually had to travel to Serbia twice, pay my plane tickets and all that to go and take the exams to graduate. And guess what? I finished all that with zero debt. I paid it as I went, because it's cheaper, obviously. Well, I don't understand these people that go $250,000 in debt for a degree that will never make them more than $40,000 a year. So I feel like their parents are to blame somewhat because they're not teaching them better, and then these kids they're so relaxed about life. They think everything will just handle itself. Everything will be okay. It's just that we have and I say we because I live here now and I am an American now, that we have it so good that just you have to invent some kind of problem. So what kind of problem you're going to invent? Oh my God, there's inequality. Yes, absolutely there is. But what they're what they're forgetting to say, it's economical inequality. When you're poor, it's hard to become rich. It's never been easier than now. And then if your parents are poor and you come from a poor line, they don't know better. They're not going to teach you can be rich. That's the inequality. That's what we need to fight. No one's going to come to you and say, well, I don't know, John, you're from a trailer, so I don't know, you raised yourself from it. That's what you need to be proud of. You didn't sit there and say, well, I'm from a trailer. I'm never going to be anything. I'm just going to live like this forever. You didn't. But it I think it's the culture where you grow up in. You need to either find your own drive or you're just going to be where you're at. Yes, rich people will always be privileged. they can run someone over with a car and not go to prison. We all know that. But that has nothing to do with the inequality they're talking about here. The economic inequality is real. It's real in every country. And when they talk about socialism and how it would be great, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, like I said earlier, I grew up in it. A socialist utopia would be awesome. I'm not gonna say it wouldn't, but here's the problem: it's never been done, and it will never be done. Now, real socialism, what happens is that yes, everyone's equal. Everyone's equally poor. That's what they forget to tell you. The only rich people, they own everything, they have all the money, are the government. Yeah, or the Socialist Party, that is the government. And everyone's equally poor. I don't think you're going to find a lot of people in this world that will say, yes, I want someone to be poor and hungry. No one wants homeless people, you know? No one, like, I mean, I'm sure there's few, but majority of people, doesn't matter if they're socialist or capitalist, doesn't matter if they're conservative or liberal, no one wants people dying in the streets. But the problem is that some people have some math sense in their head. They understand economics, that some things just can't be done, and that we need to take personal responsibility. You know, if you want, I don't have health insurance right now, you know, and so I can get a job and get health insurance, or I can pay a lot for it, but I've never thought of the possibility that I should make someone else pay for my health insurance. You know, it's just not how I'm wired. And that's the part I don't understand about the new generation. There's so much opportunity out there, but no one wants to work. No one wants to work. They want to sit on their phones all the time and do nothing. And no one ever got rich from doing nothing.
That, well.
And rant. That was my rant for today.
A few people have got rich by doing very little, and they are typically selling courses on how to get rich by doing nothing. And,
right? Yes, I forgot about those.
Go buy all that, but I agree. You know, I think you're the type of person I could actually like to hang out with and spend time with, and that you're really intriguing with your story. But I want to get to let you provide value to these people and get to your
That's good.
Get to your offering. But before that, I just want to ask kind of one last question. Like, so all this, you know, your life and your story, you don't share it, but you've been through what I would consider some fucked up shit, probably. And now because of that, you have your personality, like I think your personality is great. You just don't give a fuck about stupid shit. You don't let simple shit bother you. But how do you think that affects you in the marketing world and the way that people perceive you, where, you know, you just don't give a fuck about, you know, they're a little silly.
Yeah.
Like, grow the fuck out.
So I think once people get to know me, they do like me a lot. That's what I've gotten from them once we start talking. I think it keeps a lot of people at bay and be like, oh my gosh, she's a bitch, you know, I don't want to talk to her. She's being mean, she's direct and all that. Now, in a way, that's probably a good thing, because someone that's super sensitive, I probably couldn't work with them because I'm direct. Like, I really care for my clients. I really care for people around me. So I want to be honest with them. Now, I never go out to actually hurt someone's feelings. Absolutely not on purpose. But at the same time, I do believe that you got to say what you think. You know, if you think I'm an idiot, I wouldn't mind if you tell me that, you know. And even if you hurt my feel, like if I don't know you, you're probably not going to hurt my feelings. If I do know you, I'll definitely be like, okay, what is it? So I can change it. Because I feel like every day I'm growing. I'm always changing. I'm trying to be a better communicator and all that. But I guess like where I remove my filter is when I see people that are just like, I feel are not seeing the real world, you know. To me, like, I try not to get political on my Facebook, just not because I don't want people to know what I think. Most do. It's more because I don't want to start a discussion on it, because we're just not going to change each other's opinions, you know. Now, I'm always open to learn about why you think so. But if you support, you know, like, for example, one time I wrote about the Antifa, which is, you know, in America is like, they're just creating problems. And to me is like, if you have to make your political situation move forward, like their agenda, by going and attacking old people, like, to me, you're trash. Because those old people can't defend themselves. Like, you know, you take a metal rod and hit someone on the head. Like, how's that, you know? So, but like I said, I try not to start that conversation too much. I know, for example, that like if I mention religion, I know that will put people off because a lot of people aren't Christians or, but I guess what I've learned over time, and here's one thing, I always really, really want to do things ethically. And because like, my dad and mom were like super ethical. My dad's the type, if he found a bag with $1 million on the street, he would take the bag and then find the person whose bag it is to give it back. And he would spend his own money to find the person. Like he is so honest. And so that's what I was around. So I always felt like that's why I couldn't do things like one time I bought this course. I swear it was the most basic course in the world. And I couldn't believe that this person is selling it because I felt like, why are you doing that? It's on Google. But then I realized that, some people buy because they want it all in one place and so on. So to me, that has been a big struggle. And the worst clients I've had eventually turned out to be scammers. They either like scammed me out of money, believe it or not, or I just never like vetted my clients. I don't Google them. Like they come to me, we talk about their business. Can I help you or can I not help you? And so on. And they turn out to be people that are like all over internet that have like reports against them for fraud and fake things and so on. And it's that energy, you can actually feel it. And that's the part where I feel like if I keep these people away because they hate me because I'm Christian or they hate me because I'm direct, maybe it's better. I know that I'm going to have to find like a middle ground where I do attract people that are nice. They may think I'm going to hurt their feelings. So that's something I'm going to have to work on next year, to not appear as direct as I am. But I do believe that once people get over their egos, because trust me, I've had big ego and I got it beat out of me when I started doing martial arts. When you have been the best at everything you've done before and you start doing this and everyone kicks your ass, you're going to learn to drop that ego, So I try to apply that in life. I try not to, I try to recognize my ego. I try not to get upset about people's opinions. Also from your experience and a lot of people on internet, there's people that are just going to start drama no matter what. There are people that will attack anyone. And that type of people, that's not me. Being direct doesn't mean going and shitting on everyone, Like it's one thing to be direct and honest, which I think I am and trying to be. And it's another thing to be just an asshole, which I'm never trying to be.
Well, you're right. Lots of people are just fucking like drama for no reason. They're unhappy and they see other people in the position that they want to be or moving towards the position that they want to be.
Yeah.
Their focus switches to, instead of doing what they need to get to that position, to try to tear that person down. But yeah. I think I can talk to you all day and ask you questions all day and get to know you more all day. But
let's do some marketing stuff, right?
My audience, they really want some value, some actionable shit, some good information. Although I think this is great myself. So hopefully anybody that's watching and follows me, they understand that, even everything that we've done so far, even though I haven't given you or Nika hasn't given you any marketing tips or anything like that hopefully you guys understand that there's value here, at least between the two of us, because we're building a relationship here. So I'm going to just hand it over to you, and you spend as much time as you want, just, providing as much value as you can to my audience about what you're good at, marketing.
Okay, so definitely what I do want to say, I want to start actually with your software, and I want to say how bad I was with it. I signed up for your deal last year, or maybe it was this year. That was like, you get all the software for a year, and I waited. It was months later that you actually put out the partnership deal, and I was like, oh, this looks good. Let me join the partnership. This is what I'm really bad at, and I want to tell people that are watching this not to be me. So I've had the tools, the software for months. Then I joined as a partner for months and never touched a single tool. The biggest mistake I've ever done. Why? Because these tools, once I got into like the first one and I started setting it up, I was like, oh my God, this is genius. But here's another thing. It's not just genius for my process. It's genius for my clients. It's so easy. Some of the things, like for example, in Chirply, which is the texting and calling and all that, I was like, this is a whole system. I literally was Googling. I needed what I call a sales system. So calls and texts and follow-ups and all that. And I was Googling, not realizing that's exactly what I have in my hands. And it's just it's me being lazy. I completely, I'm so mad at myself. I hope people watching this do not be lazy. So I go there, I set up these phone numbers in a second. I set up these texting. I realized, oh my God, I can record my sales calls so I can practice to get better. It's just genius. And that's just one of them. And then, so I started to slowly, I still didn't go through all of them, but I'm slowly setting them up. So don't be me when you get a tool. And actually, here's the funny thing. I spoke about them a couple times on my Facebook, and people would message me and be like, hey, I want to try the tool you're talking about. And 90% of those people actually had signed up for your big free deal when I shared it the first time months ago. And I'd be like, okay, well, I'm trying to make them an account. They have an account. I'm like, you need to check your email. And they had it and never logged in. And it's actually one of the big diseases of entrepreneurial world, is that we sign up for everything and never put anything in action. So that's one of the things actually that I've been changing a lot. Is like, I'm not, if I sign up for something, I'm going to sit there and read through it or watch the video right now. And if I can apply it right away, I'm doing it. If not, it's going out, So if you have any of the tier 5 softwares, please log in and set it up. It is mind blowing. I tell people, like, with Chirply, it's not just your business. You can literally set up a bunch of your clients' businesses on your account, not spend another extra dollar, make hundreds off of your clients, and actually provide them a service they need. Like every business needs it, So that's what I wanted to start with. And then also one thing I wanted to talk about, and that's what I kind of threw in the questions I want to be asked. And that was what I'm really seeing a lot happen in marketing. And it's kind of upsetting me, because again, it goes back to me wanting to be ethical. And I don't think this is ethical. And I'm not sure everyone's doing it on purpose to be unethical. I just think people are not like really thinking ahead or so on. So I've had a bunch of clients come to me and be like, hey, I need you to run my ads, but I don't have money because I just spent $10,000 with a marketing agency and they didn't do anything for me. Okay. So then of course you come to me and you have no money. So you know how that's going to end. But businesses are losing money because they're getting sold on offers, right? Oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then, we, as a marketer, I also don't guarantee results. None of us really will say, I guarantee results. It depends on what, if I'm getting leads for, a martial arts gym, I'll guarantee results. But some businesses you can't. But they all guarantee results. They all charge a lot. And then they go to these marketing groups and say, yeah, I just got my first ad client, but I'm not sure how to do ads. So what do I do now? And I'm thinking like, man, you're good at sales because you just sold something you don't even know how to do. And so I want to tell business owners, this is like super important. First of all, you saying, oh, I want to do ads may not be right for you. You are not a marketer. Most of these business owners, you're not a marketer. So you don't really know what's next for you. You need someone, and it's not a pitch, but this is what I tell people because this is how I function. Is like, I call myself a strategist. I can do ads, I can do anything, but I call myself a strategist because with 10 years of experience in so many industries, I know that not everything is for everyone. It's not one size fits all. So your business is going to advertise or do marketing completely different than mine, and completely different than a local gym, and completely different than a bakery shop. And people think that because someone says, yeah, you should run Facebook ads, that everyone should run Facebook ads. Now, ads are awesome. The problem is that a lot of people aren't ready for ads. I've been asked this before, like, are you running ads for your business? I'm like, no. What do you mean? No, you run it for others. You don't run it for yourself. Yeah. You know why? Because I'm not ready for ads. And here's why. I don't have a system set up that would work for me. You need to have so you don't just run ads and be like, oh, I hope it will work. You either have someone answering the messages, or you have a funnel, or you're going to have someone picking up the calls. And I'm not going to be sitting here waiting every second to pick up a call or something, So unless you have a system that once you fill it up, like fill the leads with ads into your system, don't run ads. Or people will have like a brand new offer, never proven. They build the funnel themselves and they go like, I want to run ads. I have $200. Well, good luck with that. You don't even have enough to test it. It's just like people are being sold, and I'll be very honest, and I don't care who gets upset, because I've said this to people like privately, that I like Russell Brunson and his books, but what he has built with ClickFunnels, the community and everything, is almost poisoning the industry, because now everyone thinks that they can be a millionaire overnight. And I worked with businesses that created actual products, tangible products, that grew to 8 and 9 figures in 3 years. But there's a huge strategy behind it. It's not about creating one offer in one funnel and everything's going to be perfect. What they did, and I understand the logic behind it. Let's get people in, then we're going to upsell them on the next step and next step and next step. But it made everyone think that they can have $1 million business overnight. And also, you have now people that watch their One Funnel Away challenge and rehash it and say, I'm a digital marketing agency and I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million. Well, did you make it? Did you make $1 million? I'm never going to sell. I have never said it, and I will never say it until I do it, is I'm going to make you $1 million with a funnel. You know why? Because I've never done it. I will tell you that I can make you $1 million in a day with Messenger, SMS, and Messenger marketing, because I've done it before. But I've done it for a product. I know the process we put in place before it happened, And so people are seeing these things and not able to determine what can apply to them and what cannot, and that's like because of the way they were sold on the whole idea of entrepreneurship. And then I think about it, I'm like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not like when people say you're an entrepreneur because you're like solving people problems, creating new software and stuff, yeah, I'm solving people's problems with the strategy or ads or this or that. But I feel like to be an entrepreneur, you really have to invent something new. And most people calling themselves entrepreneurs are just keep rehashing someone else's stuff. They'll go through one course and then redo the same course and sell it as their own. And I know because I bought some of those because I was like sold on them. I'm like, oh, this is a good idea. And then I realized this person bought it, made a course because they bought it from Dan Henry, who bought it from Sam Owens, So that's like my big beef with the industry. I don't generally care about marketing people doing this to each other, to other marketing people, because it's not my industry. But I feel bad when they do it to someone that's a small business, that the $1,000 they give you to grow their business is like, separates that $1,000 could have been their kids, dancing classes for the year, and they gave it to you. And that's why I really have a beef with it is when you're taking money, not thinking of the person giving you the money.
Yeah, I agree. I've hired 3 professional marketers so far, and every one of them has been full of fucking shit. Like literally, the 3 marketers that I've hired, they went in and like basically copied the ads that I ran and just ran those ads. So you said though, and I think that's important. You said not everybody is ready for ads. That you need a system. You need a system first. So do you help with systems?
Yeah. So yeah, and for example, I mean, I've let's say an e-commerce store. You can't just obviously you can just run ads to the store. I mean, but if you don't have a way to now if you aren't retargeting them, if you aren't putting them on an email list to retarget them with an email list, you're just leaving so much money on the table, and I don't think it's efficient. And with the fact that so many people are really hesitant to invest in advertising because they don't know if they're going to get the results. Why would you run ads to one point in what you to one point, and your whole system is 1 point, where your system should have 20 points, And so I think unless you're maximizing what you're going to do, all the possibilities you're going to get out of it, then just hold on, save the money, just save money over time so you have more for ads, build a system, and then you can hit it. Because if it's an e-commerce store, if you can just, retarget them and do the abandoned cart ads and remind them about any action they did, it's better. Like if you look at Frank Kern, for example, I know that some people for some reason in marketing world don't like him, but let's be real. He was doing marketing 20 years ago. Like he's probably one of the first people I ever followed. If you look at his system, it's like, okay, he'll run an ad to a free thing and then he'll play a video and then sell you something else. But his system works all together because depending on how much of the video you watched, depends on like that affects on which email will be sent to you, you know, and then which ads you will be retargeted with. Another group that I really like to follow is the guys from Traffic and Funnels. They're also like, first of all, what I like about them is sometimes they'll just be like super straight, like, oh, you're not doing this, well, you know, you're dumb. Like they don't say it in those words, but I like that because they're like, hey, we can help you and this is what we can do for you, but if you choose to go, you know, do something stupid, then it's on you. Like they're also retargeting is also great because I know, because I try to get into all these funnels and get retargeted and so on, and trust me, I buy a lot of times just because I love the retargeting, and usually people that have the systems are actually the ones that will offer you good stuff. Like someone that doesn't have a system, they'll just keep running these ads over and over again. Someone that has a system, they're segmenting you, so you're going to get offers that you actually need. And it's just instead of following someone that just started and has you know, some basic course that they rehashed from someone else, you go and, you know, who was it that said success leaves whatever tracks or something, I can't remember, but like, you know, just follow the successful people. There's a reason why they're successful. If I was a software developer, I would be like geeking on your stuff. I'd be following you on every single social media. I would see how you're talking to people. I would see what kind of software you're making, what kind of people are following you, what kind of people are commenting on your stuff, you know. And no one wants to talk to people. They don't want to do research. They just think, oh, I'll run ads, because everyone's lazy. Going back to that, people don't want to work. They want to run ads and everything's going to run on like autopilot. Autopilot is probably the best word you can use to sell anything. Just say autopilot. Everyone's on it, you know? Well, nothing works on autopilot, you know? Well, I mean, nothing when you start will work on autopilot, you know? So that's what I think, that the Facebook ads are definitely not for everyone. You know, like I said, you can run it to a single point in your system, but you need the system to really get out of. And so instead of you invest $1 and you get $1.50 back, if you have a system, you can get $1 in and 20 out, you know, and that matters, because then you'll have 20 more to invest into a system, you know.
So could you talk a little bit between the difference of like return on investment and return on ad spend? Because I see a lot of, you know, marketers, and again, like I said, I'm not a marketer, I don't claim to be a marketer, but I see a lot of marketers and they're always talking about, you know, hey, here's my return on ad spend, blah blah blah, like that matters. So do you think that return on ad spend is important, or like do you go off of the ROI?
So I think when it depends on the industry, but for example, I just shared a screenshot the other day on my Facebook, and it was an e-com store, and I just see their Facebook ad account because I'm doing something else for them, and the ad agency they're using spent almost $4,000 and made $1,600. Now, I'm not saying they spent $4,000 and got $5,600. They spent $4,000 and got $1,600. So now they're in the hole for $2,400, right? And this is an ad agency. And this is not a new offer, a new business. They have a, you know, full pixel. They have thousands and thousands of customers. This should not be happening, right? So with that return on that ad spend is horrible. It's like 0.42, if I remember well, something like that. And that's horrible. Now, with them, they need to know how many of their customers are really coming back. If you have a product that's really unique, a lot of customers will come back because they have nowhere else to buy it. But you're having a product that you can buy anywhere, in any color, in any shape, smell, whatever, you need to be careful about that. So if I was one thing that people think about is, like you said, return on ad spend and ROI. But what they don't know, what they didn't sit down to figure out, is what's their lifetime value of a customer. And this, like, regardless of ads, if I know that I'm going to make $3,000 from a customer this year, to me, like, if you told me you need to spend $2,000 to get them, I'll be like, okay, because I'm still going to make $1,000, you know. But people want to get the cheapest leads possible. So they go like, oh my God, I got my leads from $2 to 30 cents. Okay, well, how much money you're going to get out of that person? I don't know, about 3,000-4,000. Why wouldn't you pay more to get better people and get a better ad person? Or if you don't like the agency, get a better copywriter, test things. So that's a good start first. Like I'm thinking about the martial arts gyms, because I used to train martial arts and I worked with them, and I even wrote a book. I just didn't publish it yet for them. That where martial arts cost, like jiu-jitsu specifically, costs like $150 a month. I know, because I paid like anywhere from $150 to $300 a month, and that's not little money to go to the gym and get beat up. Well, people stay with martial arts gyms. I actually moved to Florida to train in a specific martial arts gyms. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars with them. To them, it would be totally worth it to spend $200 to get a new person in, but people aren't looking at that. They're always looking at, well, what's the cheapest I can get the person in, and then they get crappy people because they're just going for the number, like as low as possible. And when it comes to ROI, they're just looking at their ads. Oh, okay, I paid $5 for this lead, and they bought my $7 book and signed up for my $49 product. So I spent I got $51. That's it. But what about you selling them further, getting on the phone with them, selling a service? No one's tracking that today. Like, you have very few real businesses that are tracking these numbers today, because that will completely change the perspective of your marketing. Like if you're a real estate agent and I tell you, you really should do the mailers, and everyone's like, mailers? Yeah, mailers still work. Spend $500 on design and print, $500. You only need one person to buy a house, and you got like 10 times more back, So people aren't thinking strategically, long term. They're just looking at the numbers right in front of them. And it's the tactics, like, oh, if I spend $5 on ads and get 6 back, and like, oh my God, it's only $1. Like, because they're used to having these huge returns on ad spend from years ago. Well, it doesn't work like that anymore, So I think that's going back to strategy and having an ad agency that aren't just an ad agency. They can have the bigger strategy picture in their head, But business owners make a big mistake, and they say, oh, I need a brand person to make my logo. Well, what's your brand? They think someone making a logo is a brand. They think someone running Facebook ads is, creating this big business growth for them. So, and that's the biggest mistake businesses make now, is they're focusing on little things instead of just overall. And if you have overall strategy, this is where we're going, and this is how we're going to get there, then you start applying these little tactics that are the roadway to how we're going to get there.
Awesome. I think it's super valuable what you said, as far as people don't want to spend money to acquire a customer. And I never understand that myself. Like you touched on some of the shit that for some reason a lot of people don't want to talk about. And it's just, I'm cool with talking about it. It's bullshit from ClickFunnels, like most of the marketing that I know, I learned from Russell Brunson, watching his videos. I kind of feel the same way. They've created this ideal that you're one funnel away, and that's not really true. It's that there's so much more that's involved than just that funnel. And it's like, and we're actually working on our own software that's going to solve all these problems.
Oh, I know. I saw it. It is so good.
Well, what I think, and I think I bring a really unique perspective here, because I'm not a marketer and I've learned all this marketing, but I'm a tech person, and I've been my whole life solving problems with technology, using engineering to solve problems. And it's like the funnel, guys, girls, transgenders, the funnel is one part of your system. That's it. And that funnel, it's like they teach you, and I understand it 100%. That's their marketing, right? Because that's what they do. They sell funnels and shit. So obviously they're going to put their brand and all their marketing around, indoctrinating you that you're one funnel away. But that's really bullshit. It's like I see all these people and they're focused 100% on their funnel. And this is why we're creating our software, because the funnel, boys and girls, transgenders, is one part of your process. And trust me when I tell you, that funnel has no fucking money whatsoever. You're never going to get a funnel to give you any money. Customers that visit your funnel, that's who has the money. The customer, they have money in their pocket. the funnel has no money whatsoever. So why people don't want to spend money to acquire a customer, that shit's unreal to me, because once you get a customer, the good thing about once you get a customer is every customer that you get, they're almost like a little virtual ATM as long as you treat them well. You know, if you don't focus on marketing and you actually focus on that customer and the product and service that you provide to them, then they're like a virtual ATM. When they get more money, like literally, I can show you my ClickFunnels account. I can show you all the money I make, and like I make an offer. I've literally made offers and not even made the offers yet. Like, because what I do is I, like a lot of times when I make my funnels, I go live on Facebook and I make the videos. And I've had a funnel that hasn't even been ready yet. I haven't even launched it anywhere. All I've done is actually went on Zoom and I switched up my method. I went on Zoom and recorded my video and then posted the video on YouTube to go in and actually, you know, put it in my funnel. And before I ever launched the funnel to anybody, before I gave anybody the URL, I've had people go in and buy it, and those were my customers about my other stuff, and I just take care of them. And so whenever I have new stuff, they come in and buy it. But I want to give you a chance to talk about your offer, but you've already provided so much value here. I wanted to see if you had just a little bit of more time to provide a little more value. And I had two questions that I know that one of these questions that you answer would really help me a lot and provide so much value that I even fucking pay you for this information. And the other one I think that my audience would really get a lot of value from, because let's face it, there's so many people on the internet that say they're a marketer and that's what they say they are, and they're not. All right, they're just not. So the first question, if you could, how do you hire a marketer if you're not a marketer? So this is my question. This is what I struggle with. Like, I'm not a marketer. I know very little about marketing, and because of that, I don't actually know how to hire a marketer. Like I said, I've hired 3 of them that are well known on the internet for being marketers and shit, and everyone has fucking, from my perspective, ripped me off and hasn't done anything. They haven't produced near as many results as I have. And my problem is I don't know how to hire marketers. I don't know how to gauge, like, is this person full of shit or can they do that? So could you give us some insights as a marketer, like what types of questions should we ask, or how could we actually vet somebody, or know, okay, will this person help me, or are they just full of shit, or are they just marketing to me, or can they help me?
Yeah. So first, what I'm going to say is, like, I totally am going to defend the industry when I say that any marketer that says, oh, I can guarantee you results, usually I just wouldn't go for it, because it's not up to them. Like, they can write a great Facebook ad, for example, and they can pick a great picture, or they can help you create a great video for your ad. But at the end of the day, Facebook can update the algorithm like the day you launch the ad, and it just goes out. So you definitely, like, I would definitely not get mad at them right away, obviously. But what I noticed is, like, if business owners post in these Facebook ad groups, for example, and I'm talking about Facebook ad specialists, but I will go back to, like, hiring generally a marketer. They'll post in a group and say, hey, I need someone to run my Facebook ads. And then you'll have like 50 people going, I DM'd you, I this, and I'm like, I don't even know what you do. Like, what is your business? Like, what do you do? What do you sell? You know? And they're just, I understand it's like a sea full of those little piranhas, fishes, and they're just like all eating each other because they're trying to get the next client. And I know, I'm sure a lot of them are just have the best intentions of getting a client and helping them. But if you don't know anything about their business, how do you know you can help them? There's, for example, I've worked with a lot of hair companies because of one of the biggest hair vitamin company I worked with. And I did some really great stuff with them. And now people know I worked with them. Well, they come to me and say, I want you to do everything that you did for them. I'm like, okay, well, what's your marketing budget? You know, because I know what our marketing budget was there for a lot of things, and you're probably not close to that. And so they expect these results just because I have experience in it and I've done it before. If you like, there's too many factors affecting it. So if you tell me your budget is really low, I can tell you right away, we're not going to be able to do it. Like, because our budget there was huge, and we had, you know, we spent a lot of money on influencers, for example, and you have zero money for influencers. You don't even have money to ship free products to potential influencers, you know? So it's just like things like that people don't realize. So if you're trying to hire an ad person, I would probably look for people that are in your industry and be like, hey, who are you using for your ads? Then I would ask I know that a lot of people will do testing, so they'll give access to the ad people. Let's say you're going to test 3 of them and say, okay, I want to see which one of you will make most sales for Chirply, and each one of you has $500 to do the ad. A lot of ad people are really good with technology, which means going into the ad account, setting up the ad, setting up the targeting. They have zero sense of who you're targeting. They have zero sense in writing an ad. So those are like very different things. Someone is really good at researching your market. Now, as a business owner, you should have some idea who you're marketing to, which a lot of business owners don't. They go like, well, I just want someone that will buy it, which doesn't help the ad person, right? So if you give me some ideas as an ad person, I should be able to go and research that person. And that doesn't mean what they do. They go to Facebook Insights and see what kind of audience pulls up when I put random words in it, instead of actually kind of like researching the exact person you would be advertising to and what words they use, what clicks for them, and so on. Then these ad people don't know how to tell you to make a good ad video, which is really important. Like I remember Ezra Firestone had some speech where he explained how he forms like his videos for e-com. It was face cream, and he was explaining 30 seconds to 6 minutes, and this is when you say this, and this is when you say this. A lot of ad people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to make a good so what they're really good are at going into the Facebook ad account and setting up an ad. They can write it, they can figure out the audience, they can when they look at the numbers, once you run a bunch of ad sets and all that, they look at the numbers and they go like, oh, this looks to perform the best, let's just keep running this one. But they don't know why it's performing the best, so they can't repeat it. So they keep restarting these tests over and over again. You need to know, why is this ad working, so you can just make same type of ad over and over again, right? Now, and that's just for Facebook ads, because I feel like it's the most saturated industry with bad providers. Then when it comes in general to hiring a marketer, I really think it should be someone that has a more vast knowledge of marketing. So, and you as a business owner should know some basics. So if I start bullshitting you, I'm bullshitting you. And that's the scary part, because a business owner doesn't have time to learn marketing. So they just believe what you tell them, which it should be like that. You should be telling them the truth. But they get sold on what, case studies and all that. And like, trust me, I have awesome case studies. Am I going to tell you I'm going to do this exactly for you? No, I'm not, because there's, again, too many factors. What you can guarantee is that, you're going to pour your heart into your business, and that you're going to do a good like strategy, and then you're going to do the best you can. But like, to me, promising that, yes, I'm going to make you $100,000 in 30 days and your offer is brand new, I want to see that marketer, because I'm going to hire them, then they turn around and go like, yeah, I can do this, but I need $20,000 in ad spend. Well, that wasn't the deal. Well, yeah, but I can do it. Listen, I can make you, John, $7 million in a month. Totally, I can do it. And then we'll sign, and I'll be like, okay, well, now I need like 6 million in ad spend. Because a lot of these people are going like, oh, two comma club, whatever, funnel, $1 million. And they spent like almost $1 million on ads. That's why these things are like, you have to be. So I think for a business owner, they really should know some general idea on what's possible with marketing and advertising. They should be aware of their business, where their business is. Like if your business is supposed to be a brand and no one really knows that you're a brand or like visible in that industry, you need to work on that. So business owners trying to hire marketers, I would really go first with either like a strategist, or what I like to call myself as like a CMO in a box, or hire a digital agency that has proven track record and with various industries and so on, because once you have a plan, then it's easy to go and hire a Facebook ad person, because now you have a plan, and your plan is Facebook ads are going to be running, selling this product. They're going to target these people. And then your Facebook ad person doesn't need to be so knowledgeable, because now they have a plan. So you throw that paper at them and say, okay, implement this, so you definitely, it's either going to be someone that's really experienced with ads and worked a lot and grew into a strategist, or you're going to have to go for like a bigger agency or strategist and so on. Now for you, I would believe that your pixel is full as heck, and you've had ads that perform. I'm not even like, I saw you a couple of times post about Facebook. I wasn't even sure why you're looking for a marketer. Like you were doing just fine. Like there's just basic things that you can probably put one of your, people or hire assistant. And I know this is, people are gonna call me crazy. You can hire assistant to watch a good Facebook course and they'll be probably able to pull it off and learn stuff, or like, I'm kind of like torn on Facebook ad people, because I know there's some great ones, but some of them focus so much on certain industries that they really can't convert that into another industry,
Well, the reason I'm looking for a marketer is because I'm basically not a marketer, and I don't have the passion for it. Like I don't want to be.
That I can understand. Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing it for sure, and I say I'm not a marketer only for marketing purposes, obviously, but I'm not really one. It's not what I'm passionate about. I have no passion to do it. Actually, it really kind of makes me sick, because I mean, honestly, it makes me. It kind of like I can't focus on it because I'm a builder, I'm an engineer, and that's what I like to do. But right now, I don't have a marketer that I can rely on. I don't, like I said, I don't know how to hire one, so I have to do it.
Hey, for some kind of context, this is gonna make you laugh. The company, one really big company I worked with, and they went from like 0 to, I don't know, 9 figures in like 2 or 3 years. 3 years. Their ad person had no clue about ads when they hired him. They were like, okay, you'll learn. And he did learn. And sure, a different ad company could have done way better for them. And eventually they actually hired an agency, gave him $300,000 in ad spend, a really famous agency, $300,000 in ad spend. After $150,000, this agency was doing worse than the in-house person. And they called the agency and they're like, hey, we need to change something. Like, we should have better results than now. And they're like, yeah, let's just finish this contract, spend this 150 that's left, and then we'll redo it. Like, can you imagine someone saying that? Because they're not spending your money. The in-house person was spending, if they make money, they'll get a bonus. If they don't make money, they're stuck with their salary. So for people that can afford to hire in-house and just teach him, I think that the big thing is the differentiated this in-house person versus an agency is that he got into the brand. He lived it every day. Now, a good agency will be able to do that. They'll live your brand. They're really on it with you. But if it's someone just literally doing the ads, like turning stuff on and putting it together technically, they're not going to have that feeling. Because I feel like a lot about the ads is feeling out people and seeing what they like. And because sometimes it's one word, it's a picture, it's a color in a picture. And you got to feel the brand to know how people are perceiving it and to run the ads that will work.
So, and I'm assuming that you would say, and you would agree with me whenever I said that there's a big difference between somebody who runs Facebook ads and a fucking marketer. They're not the same, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are just I've seen actually one good Facebook, well, I would call her Facebook marketer. It's a person that did a lot of Facebook ads, and recently she said, I'm not going to call ourselves digital agency anymore, because we don't do just ads. We sit there and figure out your strategy, and if we're going to have funnels and how we're going to have those funnels. The point with her is, like, just like me and just like a lot of people, they're tired of seeing these agencies out of nowhere that have no experience calling themselves digital agencies and doing what your 3 people did. And so this person said, I'm not going to call myself an agency anymore. I think the industry is going to get worse before it gets better. I think that I honestly think that a lot of, now this is not a knock on people that are visible and good. Absolutely. I just know a lot of people in this industry that are amazing, that are absolutely invisible, and so that's where the problem is. Not problem. I mean, that's our problem if we're not visible. But what I want to say is that it's hard for a business owner to figure out who to hire, because what do? They Google it. Whoever's the most visible gets the client, and so I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
For sure. That's my problem. Like, I don't know who to hire. I've tried hiring 2 people. Every one of them, I would say, basically, from my perspective, I would say they basically scam me. So So whatever, I can hire software engineers because I know how to do that. I can do the job.
You know how to, yeah.
So I think
You might, you know what? I don't know if this is something in your plans, but you may want to start building your own marketing team in-house, especially if hiring there is obviously more affordable for you. And no judgment here, because I hire my sister and her friend because they are cheaper for me, and they're like, when you give someone opportunity where there are no opportunities, they're just better workers. If you give someone a job that can have any job and they just don't care, they're not going to perform well. That's just my opinion. So you might want to start hiring, and your first person would be maybe a little bit of a generalist that can do a little bit of everything. And then you see, okay, well, this is looking like their strength. Then you get them just a good course for them to learn and apply that. And eventually they'll grow into more of a manager role, and you'll have a marketing team. Because with the amount of software you have, and you're going to be like $100 million company, and you're going to have an in-house marketing team, because they're going to be living and breathing what you guys do there. It's a very different feeling when you guys are talking about, hey, what do you think about this feature? Should we add this feature into Chirply? And you have like 20 of you in one office saying, what about this? What about that? Wait, I heard people say this. This marketer is sitting there and hearing the objections. Yeah, that's your software team. But those are also objections like normal people, regular people, your buyers are going to give. So they get to say, oh, that's the objection we need to make a video about, So I think that's just my random opinion that you didn't ask for, that you might want to start hiring like in-house marketing team,
Well, I'm literally trying to do that as we speak. Well, not as we speak, I'm here, but I'm been trying to build a marketing team. Like it's probably hard to believe that we've done like $6 million worth of revenue, and like we're about to turn 4 years old on the first of this coming year. We turn 4. We're celebrating our 4th year anniversary. I've got over 40 full-time employees, and we've never had a marketing firm ever. Like we don't have any marketing people whatsoever. And I know that if I had a marketing team, that we would get so much farther. But like I said, I don't know. That's why I asked the question. I just don't know how to hire them. So like they come in for interviews. I keep getting them to come in for interviews. I don't know how to hire them. I don't know how to vet them and qualify them.
Yeah. I definitely hired him like as a trial, and give them specific, like, hey, I need you, if they say I can do Facebook ads, I would tell them, okay, like you look at yourself. Okay, if you as a non-marketer were able, let's say, to make $100,000 in a month on an ad, okay, I need you to make $100,000 in this ad, So, and you give them all the tools they need, you give them the money they need. If they say, well, I'll need $10,000 for ads, you say, okay, if you can make 100,000, it is a risk. But what I've noticed, like the one company I worked with, they, in my opinion, had the best hires. And honestly, most of the people they hired were not marketers. They've hired entire marketing team of being not marketers. So they would look at how likely the people are to kind of engage in learning by themselves. Like, will they grow if I don't push them? A lot of the marketing team actually started in customer service for a very specific reason. They had a very specific customer service that was probably one of the best customer service I've ever seen. So what they would do, when you spend so much time dealing with customers, you're again breathing and living the brand. Then when they move you up into, communicating with whatever influencers are running Facebook ads or Google ads, then it becomes technology. Like if you know what your customers are thinking, and because you just spent time with customer service forever, Google ad becomes just something that's both Google and Facebook ad becomes something that's just technology. How do I set it up? How do I upload the picture? How do I put the text here? How do I put the link here? But they know, because at the end of the day, every ad works because you targeted the right person. Well, how do you target them? You speak to them. How do you know what to tell them? Well, you just spent months with them in customer service, So that's what I've seen for her. It worked really well. A lot of personality test stuff worked really well because some people were just like way too sensitive to feedback. And when you're trying to train people from zero or almost zero, having them to be very sensitive to feedback is not helpful, because then you have an office full of crying people, And that's one of the things. That's just what I remember from hiring them. It was always a test. Like it was always like, 2, 3, whatever weeks trial. You see how they match with a team, and are they, trying to work to learn more? Are they asking questions and so on? I'm sure it's not very helpful, but that's probably the best example of what I've seen, someone hiring a team and growing it and pushing it up into like high level marketing, literally from customer service,
Well, this has been great. I mean, this has really been a great experience getting to know you, and having this. I really thank you so much for being on here. You've spent a lot of your time.
No, thank you. This was seriously so fun.
I mean, if you got to go, I can let you go. If you got a little bit more time, I've got one more question I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead. Remember, I told you I keep my Mondays off for any kind of client calls and stuff.
And I think maybe we could have a conversation offline. I think that's not a way that I could for sure use you. Maybe if you'd be interested, and maybe you could just help me. Like whenever I bring in these people, you could maybe just help me interview them and tell me that.
Like one of those live videos you usually do.
When I'm interviewing them, you could like be there virtually, and you could be the one that actually. To see how I do my interviews is by the time they get to me, since I'm like the owner of the company and the CEO, I just basically do character stuff and see, hey, is this person going to fit in the environment that I don't really do skills assessment, except for the marketers, because we don't have any other marketers, so there's nobody to assess their skills. Yeah. We can talk about that offline, Steve, if you.
For sure, yeah. I just remembered a couple of interesting things this person has in an interview that I will share that with you afterwards to ask people. They're like so random, but they're very telling.
Yeah, I love live streaming my but so the last question I really wanted to ask you before we get to your offer and get a chance to tell people how they can give you money, because people should buy your stuff. I think people should buy your stuff. I'm gonna buy your stuff. Is you mentioned before that not everybody is ready for ads, that you need a system. I think that's super valuable, because I mean every marketer that I've ever talked to is like, oh, you got to run ads. You got to run ads. So you never ask me, hey, do you have a system to put leads in? Do you have a process to follow up? Do you have an offer that's converting? They literally are just like, okay, well, we're going to run your ads. So I think even that has been super valuable. And that's something I could use to vet people. Like if they're like, hey, well, we're going to run ads, and they don't ask me questions about systems, like, okay, well, fuck off. But so since you mentioned that, could you maybe give us like a step-by-step what's necessary? How does one actually get ready how do you get ready to run ads? What things are needed to be in that position to be ready to run ads?
So it's going to be a couple of different things because of the industry. So I'll start with what I would, for example, do for you. Like obviously you're running ads to your tools, right? But you have so many different tools that for marketers, all of them are valuable. But if you're talking to like your tools are not just for marketers, there's like such a huge industry out there that needs you, like local businesses and stuff, that, for example, for you would need like I'll say a bazillion of ads, different ads to each tool. And then obviously like you already know Pixel and all that, then you would retarget them, put them on a list, and then send them emails. Like you have to have what the reason they say you got to run ads is, again, we're going back to one funnel away. Everyone learned that the way to make $1 million is ads, funnel. That's it, and I understand why Russell is teaching that. It does make sense. He's not wrong. It's just that people don't pay attention further from that. So they say, oh, that's it, but okay, that's a funnel. But what about retargeting ads? What about, because Russell does it, he does retargeting ads. He sends emails like crazy, every time you buy something, he puts you on a different list. I once unsubscribed because I was changing my email address. I unsubscribed from his list. So I clicked unsubscribe. I think I was subscribed to like 12 lists of his, so that's like, you have to hit them up like on different touch points. Why I feel Chirply is so valuable, not just to marketing business, is like, think about this. Most people don't want to get on the phone, or most people don't follow up with leads right away. And we know, like, if you follow up with your lead in 5 minutes, there is, I believe, 100 times more chance you will get them as a lead versus 30 minutes. I'm not talking 2 days later. I'm talking 30 minutes later. That's like very little difference. Like calling in 5 minutes, calling in 30. That's 100 times difference. People don't want to get on the call because we're just spoiled. Like everything's on Messenger and emails, and I'm guilty of that as well. So with Chirply, if I can if you do ads and you don't have a funnel because you're just a local gym, you don't have to have a funnel. If your ads converting well, your funnel is really going to be just a squeeze page. So, but if you get someone to give you their phone number and email, and you set it up in Chirply, you can send them an SMS right away, and you can send them an email, or an email right away, and then pick up the phone. But for those that don't want to pick up the phone, at least you did already 2 touch points, which is SMS and email. Like, you didn't do nothing. They're not sitting there and being like, oh, maybe he'll call me in 3 days, And it's funny because I'm the one that sometimes doesn't call right away. At the same time, I hate when someone doesn't call me right away. If I expressed interest, I want your email right away. I want your call right away. Like, you know what I mean? So having a tool that for a local business, even that, a basic system, what they do is they'll set up ads, usually messenger ads, and people message to the page. And then you have the owner. I'm going to go back again to jiu-jitsu gyms because that's just what I love. They're on the mats teaching people how to do jiu-jitsu. So when he finishes that, he's got 5 minutes to like wipe the sweat off of his face, and he goes into another class. A lot of these people don't have but like him and maybe one coach, and have like 70 billion classes going on. So he doesn't have time to go and call you right away or answer the message on a Facebook page, And that's why I say not everyone's ready for ads, but someone will go there and sell them the idea of ads, because the idea of ads is great. He doesn't have to do anything but pay a little money, and people will come to the gym. But they won't just come to the gym. They'll message you. They'll have questions. They'll ask about what time is better to come. Like, why would you want them to just walk into the gym when you're like in the middle of a class? Because now you have to finish the class. So that means they're going to sit there for 30 minutes waiting for you to finish the class. No, they're not. You need to like schedule them to come in the gym and show them around and so on. There's like a lot of these little things people miss. But if, they're going to get sold on Facebook ads because it's easy. All these people are going to message me and they're all going to come in, but they won't, because you're not answering them. You're not calling them. You're not doing anything to keep those touch points going on, and that's the system for a local business. For you, it would be heavy retargeting. So I love the ad. I keep seeing it. It says, hey, you're already using my software. I think it's a partnership ad. It says, hey, you're already using my software. If you want to join partnership, something like that. It's a picture of your team. And I think that's a really good ad. I really like it. Those are the ads that you should be running. Like, you should have this whole system of ads where you have like, maybe if you, whatever, 7 softwares, 7 groups of different ads. And then each of these tools is retargeting, because as a local business, because you can use Chirply, like they should all have it. But you know what they might not need is RoboContact. It's really not for a local business trying to get people to walk into their bakery or gym, So that's why you're going to hit completely different audiences with different tools, and then a local business, again, won't really need the partnership, but marketers will. Then you have, again, different ads for marketers. Some of them will want to join to sell the software because they just like to be affiliates or just want to make money off of someone else's software. I personally joined in because I was like, oh, I can make this work, number one, for me, and number two, for my clients. I can't remember, one of the guys is really good with, he sets up all the follow-up SMS systems for local restaurants, I think. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. So that's genius. So that's genius, like people are, but for me, if I was going to sell the software, I can't target the audience you're targeting. That's where people are also missing. Like, again, Facebook ads, they go like, oh, we'll just hit, a lot of people will run ClickFunnels, or used to run ads to ClickFunnels affiliate links by targeting Russell Brunson. Like, you have no system of follow-up, which Russell does. And you're going against like a huge budget, so like you have no system. Instead of targeting some small audience that Russell maybe didn't think of, you find that little hole, you target them with a system, because you want to hit them once they sign up for your affiliate link. They may not buy right away. You have 14 days to make them buy. You need to hit them with, if possible, SMS or Messenger or email, or even call them. Because if you don't, what they could do is drop it. And that's what I did first time. I dropped ClickFunnels And then I bought it from Russell because now I knew about the product, but then I looked up the product, found Russell, and bought it directly from them. So now you lost. If you keep going, keep reminding them, it's going to happen. So that would be different systems that you can use for, you know, different products. E-commerce, oh my God, is the easiest thing to retarget. You know, someone that went to my website, this page, that page, 30 days ago, 60 days ago, clicked on the checkout, click on like, put the stuff in the cart, didn't check out, clicked on, put some stuff in the cart and kicked it out, but bought something else. Well, why they kick this out? It's just so many ways to retarget. And everyone's like, oh, I'll just make like conversion ads to buy stuff off my store. You know, that's kind of like, does that answer your question though? Because I get on these like tangents and like.
Sure. It seems like to sum it up, it seems like what a person needs before they actually start running ads is they need essentially an offer that works and is going to convert with people, and it's essentially proven to convert with people that they're not paying to get those people. You can do that through how I do everything. It's Facebook organic traffic for free. So,
oh, absolutely, yes.
So you need an offer that converts, and you need a system to essentially keep all your leads in that you're getting so that you can work with people and they don't fall through the crack. And then you need a process to go in and actually convert those people. And once you have those things, then essentially you're saying that you're ready for ads. And until you have those, you're not ready for ads. So I think that would mean I'm somewhat ready for ads, and I'm actually running ads. I have a few ads running. You talked about a couple of them that you saw. So I have a few ads running. I do have a system that I use carefully, and I think it's a great system.
I love that thing.
That people, I mean, everybody that uses it really loves it. Really. And you mentioned that people don't like to talk on the phone, is what you mentioned. And I don't think you're right. To be honest, I don't think that's accurate. I don't think it's that people don't like to talk on the phone. I think that it's that people don't like to get rejected on the phone, and when they do their
yeah, I'll agree with you. I will not disagree on that one. Yep.
You know,
absolutely.
People don't like to waste their time, and obviously, when you get on a sales call with somebody, and if it's somebody that's not interested in your shit, then you just wasted your time. If it's somebody that's not qualified to buy your stuff, then you wasted your time. And I think that's what people don't like, is they don't like wasting their time. I don't think that it's one person and we could poll everybody. I can do it in my chat bot, and I just ask everybody, hey, if you could make a sale every single time you got on the telephone, how much time would you spend on the telephone? And I bet everybody.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I meant, yeah, you're right. Like when I say people don't want to talk on the phone, they want to talk on the phone. Like if I get on the phone with someone and they're like, we're talking about their business and we can talk for hours. It's more like, I don't want to pick up the phone and do a cold call if I'm not sure it's going to sell, because no one wants to hear no, like it's just, and then that every little word can affect it. So that's probably what I should have like I agree with you 100% on that. If you could call every time you pick up a call and you could sell something or help someone, I don't think people would get off the phones.
For sure. And I think that's one of the biggest selling points of Chirply, is because with Chirply, you can do the IVRs. I don't know if you started the IVRs, doing the outbound.
No, but I'm planning to. I'm actually getting some phone numbers I want to put in. Yeah.
With those IVRs, you can literally pre-qualify people with an IVR. You can send them a decision tree and ask them all your pre-qualifying questions. And then by the time you get on the phone with them, you can cut all the bullshit because they're already qualified.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With you. Like how many times, like I have an ad running that is I have an ad running, I'll show it to you real quick. And don't make fun of my ads and my marketing, because it sucks.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm telling you, I loved it. That last ad I saw was awesome.
Well, I have this ad. It's not running right now because I'm not in the position today to answer the calls that come in. I have this ad that runs. It's done pretty good from my perspective. And got like 100 users sign up for Chirply on it. And it's a Facebook lead ad, so just people see it and it just is like, hey, are you running running lead ads? Would you like to connect with your leads when they're hot? You mentioned that it's important to connect with people, as soon as, like you said you want wherever you interact, whenever you put in your info into an ad or whenever you opt in to get information, you want somebody to contact you right within there. You mentioned your odds of selling somebody, it takes you more than 5 minutes, go down like drastically.
And they also don't forget, like people will fill out a lead ad or something, like give the number, and like 15 minutes later they forgot about it. I've seen people say like, oh, I called them, but they said they have no idea what I'm talking about. Trust me, I have signed up for so many things that I had no idea. Like the next day they email me and be like, oh, you signed up for this. I'm like, did I? Like, I have no idea, so you can't blame them. Like we're overloaded with information. We it's hard to keep up. So that's why you definitely want to hit them while they're like thinking about you still.
For sure, and that's one of the huge things that Turkey helps with. Like whenever these guys come in and they submit this ad, so I can't show you the lead form because I've already filled it and Facebook doesn't let me do it again unless I go through some crazy shit. So once they fill out the ad and they come to this page, and this page literally you can see it has a 2-minute timer on this video, and it just basically, this just walks them through how the system works, where it shows them the ad that they saw, and it just basically walks them through the system. And then literally Chirply goes to work and it calls me and lets me know, hey, you've got a new lead that came from this particular ad right here, so I know exactly where this lead's going because I've got
I love that picture with the fire.
So yeah, this was like most of my ads for the creatives. I just Googled it and find some image from Google. Like I said, I'm not a marketer. I do it wrong. So
what happens when they say close more leads? When they click the blue button?
Oh, it just takes them where they can go down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This reminds me of what I said at the beginning about tier 5. Like a lot of us signed up for it and never got into it. And when I started using Chirply, and I am not using 1% of what I know it can do, it blew my mind. Like this is insane what it does. And actually the IVR was the next thing I was going to set up.
Well, the IVR is really awesome, but what I do here is the sales rate. So I essentially, they fill out the form. As soon as they fill out the form, hopefully they click here and they go see my page. Some of them don't. So now whether they're on my page or they're not, they're just scrolling back through their Facebook feed. Literally, I get an incoming phone call that lets me know, hey, you got a new lead from this ad. Here's your information. That passes their name so I know who they are. It sends me a text message as well so that I have their name and their information. And then it just, the phone call says, hey, press 1 to talk to them. I press 1, their phone starts ringing, and that's literally within 90 seconds of them putting in the ad. So within 90 seconds of them submitting the ad, I'm on the phone with them. The phone's ringing. Yep. All right. So now if they pick up, I don't try to sell them. If they pick up, I just introduce myself, let them know, hey, you submitted my ad. If you need anything, you can call and text me. And I just explain them, I ask them, do you have time to talk right now? I don't do a hard sell. I just introduce myself because I think that's the important part, is to build a relationship with them. And then this ad, I've got in here, I don't know how many, 44 results. I can't remember when I started running this ad, so I'll just go back to April because I know it wasn't before April. And I've got.
It switched to 1 day only. It's on April 1st.
That's stupid. So I wonder how I can do all time.
You can do lifetime, I think, if you want.
Oh, okay, let's do lifetime. So
yeah, that's awesome.
274 people. So I would say this thing has like a 30% conversion ratio, over 30% conversion ratio, because I've got over 100 actual signups from this. I've spent, I don't even know how much money I've spent because it doesn't show me this for some reason here. Does it show me this, how much money? Oh, I spent $2,769 on this ad, but I have over $4,700 of revenue coming in.
That a month, right? Yeah. It's It's $1 in, at least 2 out. It's a no-brainer. I do want to say one of the really features I really liked was the ability to put the widget on the website, so I don't have to have a 1-800 number constantly paying people to sit there on the phone. Like anyone can call me and then either leave me a message or like set up all that the little tree that you call like it's so great because it also I think it adds to the I guess looking more professional as an agency, because a lot of people, bigger companies, especially corporate, they want to hire bigger teams, and so if you can just click a button on my website and call me at any time, and I can set it where I'm either answering it or I'm either answering it or I'm saying, hey, I'm currently unavailable. It's still way more than just not having it. I think it's great. The widget is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I thought I had it. I thought I had it here somewhere. I think I only have it on my page before my coaching program because it's a $3,000 transaction.
Well, I definitely wouldn't put it on a page where there's the checkout option. You definitely want them to just focus on that form.
Well, so this is like it's a free offer, and it's $7 a month, and if you sign up for the $7 a month, I talk to them. It's the only coaching program that I have. It's like a 12-week coaching program. It's $3K. So I have it on that page so that if they have questions, they can just hit it and ask me questions, and they can get on the phone with me and ask whatever questions they want, because it's it's a $3K transaction, and some people are like a little iffy on making that 3K transaction. But Chirply is really great. I'm glad you're loving it. But since this is not about me and my software, it's about you, I want to now get into what can people buy from you. So I know that you said that you're a marketing strategist and consulting. So you have 10 years of experience in marketing. You've managed millions in ad spend, and you're one of the most sought after influencer marketing experts. So what can people buy from you?
Let me start with that. You mentioned influencer marketing. That's one of the things I'm super selective with that. I only take like a few of them a year. And influencer marketing, because a lot of people be like, oh yeah, I'll just pay someone $20 on Instagram to post about me. Well, that's not influencer marketing. I'm talking about programs that, we build out for brands that use celebrities to post for them. I am completely against, let's just get the few random people to post about us on social media. For me, influencer marketing is the best thing ever. Like if you have the money, but it needs to be done properly. You need a strategy, you need the right people, you need them to stay with you for a long time. So that is one of the things. Another thing is a marketing strategy, which is actually like a strategy call. So I do the pre-work with them. I learn everything about their business that I can. Then we get on the phone, we hash out like all the strategies I've done for them. Then they get like the final report. And what I don't end it here. I always tell them to call me if they need help with any of the implementation parts and so on. Now, obviously, because people oftentimes come to me from like a referral, they know that I know what I'm doing. So oftentimes they'll ask me to implement. I don't implement everything. For example, I'm always honest when I don't do something. So if I do it, I'll be like, okay, we can do that for you, but I can't do this, this, and this. It's a part of your strategy, it needs to be done, but I don't do that. Like I don't know how to implement Google ads in your business or something, So I won't take a client that I don't know how to do something for, or if I don't have someone that I know for 100% sure they're going to do good for them, I just don't want to put it like I can recommend someone. Like it's hard to recommend. You always want to recommend a friend. But if you haven't never seen their work and they're just a friend, it's kind of, I get a lot of people recommending me for things I don't do. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Don't send people about this. I don't do that, But my favorite thing is strategy, because obviously I like to talk, right? And I just like to kind of brainstorm and give ideas. And sometimes I think the benefit, I guess, or my good selling point is that I worked with so many different industries and so many different sizes of businesses, from like a solopreneur to people with like hundreds and hundreds of employees, that sometimes like a lot of industries, they advertise the same way. All of them advertise or do marketing the same way. But there's things in other industries you can put into theirs that will make them super unique and work, And so that's what that's why I enjoy the strategy and consulting, because I can always dig out something new for them to try that usually brings them a little higher up than their competitors, so to say. And then at the end of the day, I do Facebook ads. It's not something that I put in the front as, hey, we're like doing ads. It's just something that if the strategy requires ads and they want me to do it, then I take clients for that. I am actually, this is the first time I'm going to say this, because I literally figured it out this morning while I was waiting on the call. I am actually thinking about a membership site that would be low cost for all these local businesses that don't have money for a digital agency, because there's a lot of things that they get focused on that are not good for them, that they don't need to be worried about. And I want to help them like kind of have that ongoing strategy and plan, so I can help them get where they need to be so they can hire an agency or ad person and so on. So membership is coming, but until then, nikacall.com is where anyone can schedule a call with me to chit chat about strategy. I'll be very honest, I don't do a full strategy for free. But the call is free, and I always give some good advice on it. It does have a pre-qualifying form, because there's a very specific type of businesses I want to work with. Like I told you earlier, I'm not 100% sure what my mission on earth is still. So I still didn't even like niche down into one industry. So I'll take industries that I just like to work with, because a lot of industries are businesses in those industries are owned by similar type of people. And I just enjoy working with similar people, like, if that makes any sense. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't niche down, but I do like to work with certain types of people. And if anyone wants to talk to me, that's the nikacall.com is, I need to update my picture. The yellow looks good on me, but I look so serious. I look so professional.
You mentioned several times that you love to work with MMA gyms, right? You like to work with gyms and mixed martial arts people.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that would be your ideal customer avatar?
That would be definitely ideal company I want to help too. I actually wrote a book. I mentioned that earlier. I wrote a book that is, I break down my entire system, the way we implement it for jiu-jitsu academies. And it is based on Facebook ads, but the way I explain it, they could, if they have audience, they could do it without ads, because I have been in multiple gyms, and I know that they have the money to pay for it, and I think they should. So the book will be for them, and then it's just that they are the type of people I like to work with. They're hardworking. Anyone that has a jiu-jitsu gym, usually, I mean, they're black belt, and to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu is not like, oh, my kid's 10 years old and he's in karate and he has a black belt. Getting a black belt in jiu-jitsu is really hard. It's a lot of hard work. I've done it for several years. I've competed. I literally destroyed my health because I wouldn't take rest when I needed. And it's one of the best sports in the world for me. So I just really have a lot of love for my people, which is jiu-jitsu people. And that's probably one of, and then like I mentioned, I have 2 degrees and both are in sports. One is sports science, one is sport management. And I just love doing, I actually like working with businesses that are like bringing fun back to life. So it's anything to do with sports, recreation. I'm addicted to escape rooms. Oh my God. Like if anyone has escape room, contact me. Like we literally travel to go to escape rooms. I even got engaged in an escape room. Like we broke out of the last escape room in this one facility here in Nashville, North Carolina. And my boyfriend at the time proposed to me in escape room. It was like the best thing ever. So I love working with people that whose services I like to use. Is maybe that's a good explanation, you know.
So you're a marketer.
Yep, I'm a marketer. But you know what? For a non-marketer, you're a pretty good damn marketer. I just need to say that.
Well, I appreciate that. I still need help, so I want to talk to you offline about that. So this is like your core offer, right? Is your marketing strategy, right?
It's a call, yep, for right now. Oh, okay. It's currently what do you call it? Redirecting. So I don't know if they didn't.
Yeah, I checked it out earlier, actually.
That's weird.
I checked it out earlier.
They probably screwed something up. I'll look into that. But in general, if they saw this video on Facebook and they see me tagged in the video, I mean, they can always DM me. Sometimes I'm a little late with Facebook messages, but I get to them as soon as I can.
Well, I see it opening up now, so they can just kind of look at strategy session with you, basically. What about, you have anything low ticket? Do you have like any info products or anything low ticket? I know you said that you're writing a book. That's your first book that you're writing?
Yeah, it's going to be my first book. I don't have any info products right now. I'm dragging feet on the influencer thing, and I really want to put it out because it's a really high ticket item. It's like over 5 figures, and a lot of my friends want to do it for brands, and a lot of brands just can't afford it. And I really want to put all that knowledge and experience into a course, and it's just sitting down and creating all the content, as you know, like it's just so much. So that's probably be one of them, but I'm really keen on doing the membership because it would be such a low entry point, and I think I can help more people, you know. And I need to get over myself of, oh, everyone knows that. If I know it, they know it. Probably they don't. So I need to get over that part, right? We talked about that early, of actually putting all that into stuff where they can use it, you know.
For sure. So right now, there's only one thing people can buy from you, is what you're saying, and that's your marketing consulting service.
Yes, and just the way you said it, it sounds so sad that I might have to launch my membership this week.
Sure, and like I said, you know, I'll say it again, I'm not a marketer, and I don't know jack shit about marketing, but I can tell you that I have a bunch of different offers. I have so much stuff that people can buy from me. Most of it is software, but I've got 9 different softwares, 10 different softwares people can buy. Then I do have a very small amount of info products where I teach people. I mean, I give stuff for free, so I have a free info product. I give you shit like people. No shit. I have a recorded testimonial on this free training where people who have taken it have told me that they got more value and learned more from this free training here than they did from Coupon Club X that they paid $25,000 through us.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
So I would love to see you for sure get some, because it sounds like you don't have any continuity, right? So
No, and that's probably one of the things, yeah, that I and you know what, I know this is like my mindset, but it's always like, oh, I don't really care about money that much, so I'm like, oh, I'll just, like, you know, anytime someone messages me and needs help, I'm trying to help with messages and all that. But then I realize it's really not helpful but to that one person. So I need to do better for others by putting all that together and letting them have access to stuff that I have too many things in my head, like too much knowledge about things that I don't even do for clients, but I know how to do them and I know how they can help. Like, I really should get that out of my head, just to help those that I know need it, you know, without having to work with me. Because let's be honest, a lot of businesses that are starting, they just don't have the money. Like, I'm not even talking about people that say, I don't want to invest in advertising. It's just they're living day to day, not even paycheck to paycheck. It's like day to day. And they like one client leaving or one unsold product in their store can break their business, and breaks my heart, because like I said, like, you know, just thinking about you know, my parents and how hard they worked, it just, I definitely need to do better on that.
Well, with all the fake gurus out there, you go with all the fake gurus and all the stupid ass courses out there that don't really teach you anything. I would love to see you put something out there where you could, you know, because I've loved talking to you, and I love your story, and I know your expertise. I think it would be great for you to have something where you could, you know, help a lot more people by putting something out there, and also maybe find a lot more of your ideal clients. But if anybody wants to work with you, you can go right here to nikacall.com, and that's basically going to take them where they can schedule a time for a free consultation. And I know you said that your consultation where you give them value, but you're not going to give them everything for free, which you shouldn't. So awesome. So I really appreciated that you spent so much time here with
No, thank you. This was so much fun, honestly. And I have said things that I've never said before, talked about my childhood and all that, and it was kind of fun. So I got a couple of marketing lessons from a non-marketer, which I really loved.
Well, I try, that's what I always try to do in my interviews, is I try to get to things that people don't normally talk about and that, you know, other people aren't going to ask you. So I am curious, so I'm pretty much done here. We went through everything. So basically the last things I'd like to touch on is just, like I told you at the beginning, why I'm kind of doing this. I'm kind of, you know, doing this because I'm about to do a virtual summit. So I'm about to, I'm doing a virtual summit. So have you ever done a virtual summit before yourself? Have you ever hosted one?
I think I've done two. Actually, I've done with one with the with Martin that you just interviewed. You sent me the link to his interview, Martin from Pareto Summit, and I did Zeki Ahmed's summit about affiliate stuff. And I think those are the two I've done. I actually, I just felt like a lot of the people that asked me for interviews and podcasts, I didn't get on there because I didn't feel it's beneficial to their audience or to me. But I really enjoyed this one because I just really love your work, you know, and what you created for us, and the cost that you allow it, like the price you allow us to have these things for, it's just like, I mean, I'm just gonna say it's ridiculous, you know. Even like if there were times when I didn't have like crazy money to spend, I still wouldn't cancel your stuff. So it's just really good. So that was,
I don't care so much.
It's just like it's just really good. Yeah, I think I did both of those summits. I think I spoke about influencer marketing, and I think it's because a lot of people kind of still don't know how to do it, and a lot of people are teaching them how to do it wrong. So I do enjoy talking about it, but because it's such a higher ticket item, because it involves me and several other people working on your business multiple hours a day, and that's why it's expensive. So a lot of people just don't have it in their budget to do it.
So, but you've never hosted a virtual summit as well? That's why I was asking. Like, have you ever hosted your own?
No, have never hosted one. No.
Do you have any interest in hosting one?
You know what? When I think about it, it goes back to me not being very decisive of what I want to do. So it'd be like, wait, well, what do I want to host the summit about? You know. That's probably where I would get stuck. Like, what do I want it to be? What's the topic?
Well, would you find, so part of, like I said, part of what I'm doing, and the reason that I'm interviewing people, just to be transparent, is one, to build relationships with people. Two, it's great for marketing, just to be able to interview people, because, you know, they provide the value. You just don't do anything. They provide the value, and it's great. Like, I get to provide value to people without providing value. I just let you do it. But it's really in preparation for my virtual summit. So would you find any value if I created a virtual summit, and the whole theme of the virtual summit would be on how you yourself can create a virtual summit, everything that goes involved in creating a virtual summit, how to set it up, basically why you would want to do it, how it helps you, and then like a step-by-step playbook on, okay, here's what you do. You've realized you need to do a virtual summit, how it's going to help you. So now how do you do it? Here's how you do it, and give you a step-by-step.
Yes, and especially if you include the technical part, which is how to, you know, the how-tos of, you know, this is the tool I'm going to use. This is how I'm going to set it up. This is, you know, because I've seen a lot of people will tell you how to, hey, this is why you should do virtual summit. Let's do it. No one teaches you the technical part. And then people get stuck because they're not techie and they don't know how to hire someone that can do it. Or they hire, just like you did with your Facebook ad people, they hire someone that can do it. That is actually number one reason why I have not created a membership site yet, is because I couldn't decide which membership platform I want to use. And then when I finally decided I want to do WordPress, I wasn't sure which plugin. Then I installed the plugin. Then I'm not even not techie, but I'm like looking at it like, okay, I don't think I'm doing this right. You know, so that's actually one of the things that I would just add. If you do virtual summit and you do want to include that, that would be super valuable. But even just the idea of learning how to do it, I think it's great. Yeah, because I feel a lot of people did it after the funnel hacking live, because, you know, that was one of the topics there, but I don't see a lot of them lately. So we need to like get that back up again.
Awesome. Well, like I said, it's been great. I really appreciate your time. I would like to make some time with you, so I'll probably just schedule an appointment here with you, make some time offline to talk to you about how, you know, maybe I can work with you and get your help in marketing
Sure. Thank you so much.
My
This was so fun. People buy tier 5 software. You will be sorry one day that you didn't. Okay. I got to say that.
This has literally been my marketing strategy. Wear a stupid hat and go live on Facebook.
I need that hat.
I already had my hat guy that does my hats and told him, you know, to get you one.
That is so awesome. Freaking Wolf.
I can't thank you enough. This has been great. It's been awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. Buy the software. If you need something, message me. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty chill. Don't get upset if you see something on my Facebook that's very direct. If you have a problem with it, feel free to let me know. I love people, so hopefully no one is like super upset about something. But you know, sometimes we just gotta grow like a thicker skin, you know.
And that's what I love about you, really, is that, you know, the experiences that you went through, it gives you that thick skin and that hard head, kind of like I have because of what I went through. And I think, you know, I mentioned this before, I think sometimes it's a disservice to us because like we don't realize that, okay, hey, that offended that person because they didn't, you know, they had everything handed to them, or they, you know, they didn't go through war, they didn't go through the things that you did. So now they get upset easily. So I would say the same.
Well, if it helps to the people that do get offended a lot about little things, you really shouldn't give me the power to upset you because I'm nobody in your life. Like, you know, instead, like there's people I don't like that I still follow because I know their stuff is good, you know. So if I upset you, put it aside. It's not you know, I'm nobody in your life. You should never be upset over nobodies.
That's amazing. And I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you saying that. I feel the same way. Like, why would you get offended over me? Like, if I say, why, like, you're never going to, and that's one of the reasons that I cuss so much is like, because I want to help entrepreneurs. And I know, like, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you can't take the word fuck and that like, you get all frustrated, you're never going to make it in business ever. So,
yeah.
So this has been great. This has been really
awesome.
great.
This was so. I am shocked that in 2.5 hours we did not have my assistants coming, which is the dogs, because they'll usually bark and try to climb on me. So I'm like shocked right now. I'm gonna go check if they're alive.
Well, if you need anything, you know how to reach me, guys, girls.
Same thing. You and all of your followers and people. Anytime you need something, you know where to find me.
Yeah, and
I'm finally a friend with you again on Facebook. Woohoo!
Yeah, don't expect that to last very long, though. I mean, we can
yeah, I know you're gonna delete again.
Like very soon. I'm just waiting on them to finish the software because the software I've been using it doesn't work anymore. It's discontinued, so now I have to build my own. So I got like 7 days before they add in the friend connector, a way for you to delete every single person, and then once that's ready,
awesome.
I'm deleting everybody and I'm starting over on Facebook again.
Awesome.
Well, this has been great. I've already taken up enough of your time. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate this too, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good one. See ya.
You too. Bye.
You guys, if you need anything from Nika, if you're looking for somebody to actually help you with your marketing and your strategy with your marketing, feel free to hit her up. I hope you guys enjoyed my little interview. If you didn't enjoy it, then okay, I guess you didn't enjoy it. So I see several of you guys watched our interview. I didn't get any real comments on this interview for some reason. Didn't have you guys actually ask any real questions to Nika, so your questions didn't get asked. But I do my interviews very weirdly. I just schedule them with people that I think can provide value to you guys in some way. All right. So I find people, like, for example, right now I am in a virtual summit myself. All right, with this guy right here. So where's that guy? Where is that guy? He was in here. Oh, this guy right here. So I was in a virtual summit with this guy right here, and it is literally the Pareto Summit right here. All right. So literally, what I'm doing, again, to be transparent to all you Facebook people, because I love you guys, and because I love you, I think that you deserve honesty, and you deserve somebody to just tell you the truth and not bullshit you, and that's what I like to do. That's just who I am. I'm a truthful person. I think the reason I'm so truthful is because I'm a logical person. I'm driven by logic. So like I'm a computer engineer, and I'm into math. I like math and science, and I chose computer engineering as a profession because I just really love logic. And to me, it's just the most logical thing to be honest to people. All right. So I've told you guys several times, and I'll tell you again, I'm here on Facebook for one reason, and that's to literally make money. All right. So I'm not like a social person, to be quite honest. I don't, like, if you see what I do on Facebook, I don't do a lot of social stuff on Facebook. So what I do on Facebook is all to essentially make money. And what's my approach on Facebook? Well, my approach on Facebook is to try to provide you guys value and try to provide you guys valuable information so that you guys will consume my content, and then you'll get to know me, you'll get to like me, you'll get to trust me, and then you'll go in and buy my stuff. All right. So the whole reason I'm on Facebook is just to make money. And why am I creating these interviews? Well, I'm creating these interviews for that process, to create value for you guys and present you guys with value. So what I'm doing here, and this is part of the one coaching program that I do have. All right. So I've got one coaching program and one info product that is for sale. Now I've got several other info products that aren't for sale. I basically give them for free to my partners whenever they sign up to my partnership, because that information will really help them with being a tier 5 partner. So instead of selling it to them, I just give it to them for free. And then other than that, I only have one info product that's for sale, and it's this info product right here. All right. So if you go to johnvaughn.io, this right here will give you, this is my free information. So this is a lead magnet I use. You can sign up here. You can get a free training from me. It's 100% free. And it's basically what I do on Facebook to make money. How I make so much money on Facebook. It's literally my process that I use to make money from Facebook. I funded my entire company from Facebook, organic traffic, using the information that I teach you inside here. All right. So it's 100% free. And then once you sign up for the free stuff, then I have a low ticket offer that's $7 a month, which is more advanced training. So it's actually, more training that's more, it's more in depth, where I'm actually showing you more in depth practical information on the same stuff that I taught you for free. So it's just an extended version of that training. And then I give you all the software that you're basically going to need to be able to facilitate making money on Facebook. All right. And it's just $7 a month. And then after that, I hit you with an upsell. And with that upsell, it's essentially my full course. That's the only coaching program that I have. That's like a real, what people would consider a real coaching program. So I do have another coaching program, but my other coaching program is not an info product. It's literally me working with you to build you a software. All right. So I just call it a coaching program because I like to make fun of marketers, and I came up with it because I was talking to marketers and they were talking about their coaching programs, and they found out that their coaching programs were like $50,000 like $75,000 a year for their coaching program. And I was like, well, what's all included? And they were like, well, you get all my videos, and you get all my video content, and there's group coaching where we meet once a week, and then you can come to my private mastermind and we hang out on my yacht and shit. And I thought that was funny, so I was like, hey, well, here's what would happen in my coaching program. If I had a coaching program, here's what would be inside there. And it was a joke, really, to be honest. It was a joke. And I had several people. One of those people is my good friend now, Brian Debs, the barn cat, that took me up on that coaching program. But like I said, it's not a real, I guess it is a real coaching program. It's just not a traditional coaching program. It's a coaching program where literally it is 50K for the year. So it's a 12-month program. It's $50,000. With that, you get a full-time software engineer that works for you. You get a full-time VA that works for you. You get to work with my design team. You get to work with my marketing team. You get to work hand in hand with me. And we essentially go in and we build you a software asset that will go in and produce you money. All right. So it's really different than most coaching programs. This, however, this other program that I'm trying to show you here is the only actual coaching program that I have that's traditional coaching that you guys would probably be familiar with. And it's $3,000. It's a 12-week program, and you get full access to my social selling courses. The only info product that I've really ever created, and it's all about, you know, what I do to make money on Facebook personally. So it's just from my personal experience, what am I doing personally on a daily basis to make money on Facebook? And one of the things I teach you inside there is doing interviews with people, because believe it or not, you can make money from just interviewing people. And if you want to know how you do that, well, then you just go into my training, and I teach you, even in the free training, I teach you how, like, why you should interview people and how it benefits you and how it monetizes you. So that's why I'm doing these interviews, and I'm doing this interview for Nika because she's actually in this other summit that I'm in right here. So she's featured in this summit, and I'm featured in this summit. So what I did is I went in and I contacted everybody that's in this virtual summit, and I asked them if they would want to do an interview with me and my audience, because I already have a connection with them because we're already featured in the same virtual summit. So I already have some credibility with them because, like I said, we're featured in the same summit. So I've scheduled all these interviews, and it's a way for me to make money. It's just for marketing purposes only, even though I'm not a marketer. And what I'm planning on doing is actually going in and creating a virtual summit on how you create a virtual summit. So if you don't know what a virtual summit is basically just a whole series of interviews with people virtually over the internet. So it's over the internet. You just bring in a whole bunch of people, guest speakers, and you interview them, and you get them to actually provide value around some topic. And then there you go, you have a virtual summit. So they've been really popular. Russell Brunson teaches about how to do them. There's, I think, a chapter in the 30 Days book about virtual summits, and they're just really popular for people to do on the internet. So I've been seeing all sorts of different marketers do their own virtual summits. I've been in 3 different virtual summits myself. So I decided, you know, hey, maybe I should make my own virtual summit. What would I make my virtual summit about? Well, I just figured I'll make it about virtual summits, you know, like, made sense. So I'm gonna do a virtual summit about virtual summits. So in the virtual summit, I'm gonna bring on speakers who have either participated in a virtual summit or who have hosted a virtual summit. I'm gonna try to focus everything on just people bringing in speakers that have hosted their own virtual summit, and basically give you guys a step-by-step play on how you can create your own virtual summit and why you would do that. All right, so I'm going to give you some information like why you would create your own virtual summit, what's in it for you, and how you can use that virtual summit to essentially leverage everything that you're doing on the internet and essentially make more money on the internet by getting known and essentially doing what's called, I guess, piggybacking is what marketers call it, piggybacking off of other people's success to make you look successful, right? So to some extent, obviously, if you guys go in and you get people who are C-level or B-level influencers to sit down and spend time with you and talk to you and be in your virtual summit, it automatically gives you some credibility, right? Because people see that influencer that they know, and then they also see you. So now they begin to actually know you. And what happens in the virtual summit is literally, if you do it right, all the influencers will share your content. So they're essentially sharing you with their audience because they're obviously trying to make money themselves. You know, the whole world operates around money for some reason. So since they're trying to make money, what they're going to do is you're going to help them in your virtual summit create content, right? So they're going to be creating a piece of content that goes out to your audience. And obviously they have their own audience and they want to provide value to their own audience. So they're going to share that content out with their own audience, which means they're going to be marketing you to some extent. They're going to be sharing you to their audience as well. And then you can essentially piggyback and leverage that. And if you do like this guy did, who's going to be in my virtual summit, his name is Martin. So if you do like he did, he got like 40 people to join his virtual summit. And guess what? All these 40 people have their own email lists. They have their own audience, and they are sending traffic to his virtual summit. So like they're literally promoting him now because they're in this virtual summit. So they're sharing, their reason for being in this virtual summit, and all of them are going out and sharing posts, like, hey, check out me being featured in this virtual summit because of their own ego, right? So that's what my virtual summit is about. It's about creating a virtual summit, how you can create a virtual summit, everything that goes involved in creating a virtual summit. So if you guys are interested in that, then feel free to let me know. And other than that, boys and girls, I'm gonna go because I got a lot of work to do. I'm actually tired because I've been up all day and I haven't slept yet. But I got a lot of work to do because I just went on a 2-day vacation with my wife and just did some romancing with her, some loving with her, just spending time building our relationship and just being in love. And because of that, I didn't actually go to work today. I didn't work yesterday. I didn't work on Saturday. And that's usually what I do all day Saturday is work. And Sunday, I usually spend half the day working on Sunday. I didn't work for those days, so now as you guys can assume, I got a bunch of shit that I have to do. That I have to go back in and basically make up 2 days worth of work. So I'm gonna go do that. Facebook. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today and watching my stuff. So you guys have a great day.